Hello, my name is Bruce, and we are streaming live. We're a little bit behind schedule. Today
Well, it's along.
we watched the first half of one of the finest documentary movies in existence. It's called In Search of Tomorrow.
hmm
Uh, Everybody here that's seen this so far is going to be pretty much buying a copy of it because it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, so far it's been really good.
It, it's
And that
it's
dragon is super blue.
it's
I like
long.
it.
It's 5 hours, 5 minutes long in its entirety, but this video is all about the 80s science fiction that thankfully George Lucas helped reinvigorate because otherwise you'd be stuck with a bunch of environmental science fiction movies. I don't think anybody wants that. I mean, no offense, there's some value to Soylent Green, but I don't want to watch Soylent Green over and over and over for 10 years. Hey, Crafting Gamer, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, it was good. I was
So
really impressed.
this movie hits me on a lot of levels. It really made me think that there's like a serious hope.
Perfect timing is what I would think.
The perfect timing, lightning in a bottle, cyclic trends. That's what this movie has really invigorated to me as a viewer, and I'm so impressed with the amount of detail and how they go into the various things that we all saw if we were part of the 80s, even as a young child. Hey, Jackie Blue. Hey, Crafting Gamer. I said hi to Crafting just a second ago, but wanted to make sure that was accentuated after I'm all excited. Oh, look, there's Jackie Blue. No.
I wonder if they're going to touch on the Transformers movie. Because we
I'm
stopped
sure
at
they will.
86, at the beginning of 86. So,
Well, the thing
like,
is
all that,
that
all
I
that
did
trauma
notice.
with the children
hmm I did
killing
notice a
off
lot.
Transformers.
I noticed a lot of with certain people. There was two separate people that constantly brought up global warming and climate change narrative, but it was only two of them. The one blonde gentleman, and then the other lady that was in that played Valkaz in Alien.
You're talking about Jeanette Goldstein.
Yeah, that woman. They were the only two that did it. So even though they're older and stuff, they're still
Oh,
preaching
you had
that
that one
bullshit.
psychologist and the critic.
Yeah,
I think the guy was.
the psychiatrist or the psychologist at the beginning, the beautiful black woman, I can't remember what her name is. I'm sorry.
Angelina Roach.
Maybe. The thing is that she was very smart and articulate, and I didn't hear her say anything that I thought was woke. Everything she said had a meaning and a purpose behind it. These other two just kept throwing that out there in every single statement they made. You know what I mean? Every single thing they talked about, it was like, that's what our future is going to be. They're trying to warn us about our future, with global warming, blah, blah, blah. And it just kills me because if you have global warming, and it's supposedly the way they talk about it, you're going to have all the ice caps melt. Well, what does that mean? That means flooding, not desert. So some of the things they say just doesn't make any sense at all. So those two people.
That's why we don't talk about the ice age that was going to happen in the 70s, which turned into acid rain, which turned into global warming, which turned into climate change, which is now some catch-all for just weather.
Yeah, and I bring up every time when I hear people talk about it is that they're still buying property in Martha's Vineyard, and all these
the billionaire politicians can't get away from Martha's Vineyard. They must have a $30 billion home that will be guaranteed to flood if their prediction of increased taxation comes to reality.
It's just ridiculous.
I wonder if there's a ley line there or some hidden adrenochrome lab or something.
You guys step on each other a lot. I just want to say that.
I'm sorry.
I love you both, but
here, I'll fix it.
I hope you're doing well, Flighty. We haven't seen you in a while, and we hope that you're getting help. I'm putting you in sick bay here soon. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going wrong with my foot. Is this a bone spur? Is this a new mutation that I get when I turn 50? Wonderful.
Have you gone to the VA recently?
Okay. On
Did
Friday,
they poke you? Is what I'm trying to get at. If they poked you with something,
this has yet to happen. I got from the VA. I got from them a multi-page letter saying I am not eligible. I'm not eligible for any benefits. Which I was like, what? You haven't even examined me yet. Fuck you. And I started filling out the last page is a big form where they like you if you want to appeal this decision, here's your paper. Mail this through the snail mail. So I start filling it out. I get bored about 3/4 of the way through and I just put it over there. And then Thursday, I open mail and the mail's like, we're going to be sending one of these 7 companies to have a notification for your exam because we want to see what your percentage on your claim is. I'm like, wait, am I not eligible? Am I eligible? What's going on? And it's just the VA. God bless them all. But like, that's a very big corporation, very big company. They really don't know much what goes on in this office over here versus that office over there. So I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm going to go do their appointments like they want me to, and you know what's going to happen. But it'll be interesting. They'll be doing plenty of poking and prodding. If I get the same nice man as a doctor, I'm sure he's going to send me home with this big gulp of stuff that I've got to ingest Friday, and then just sit within 5 feet of the toilet for the rest of the weekend and explode all over the place.
Oh no, it's not going to be a colonoscopy, is it?
Yeah, it's that. It's that.
Oh, that stuff smells like freaking mop water. Oh,
I am fearful of that because, like, I hate losing days off. Lady, don't worry about it. We discussed this about a year ago, and I know what to look forward to. It's just bureaucracy. It's all the stuff, and I'll do my best to honor and respect and take care of myself and your advice. I'm just praying that you continue to stay healthy and you get a computer. I do recommend Costco. They have a very nice PC like what I've got, but a little bit more up to date than what that is. It's not the one they have is an i9 with a 4070 RTX card with like 16 gigs. It's great. Anyway, and that's if like you've got 600 credit. I don't want you to go in debt or more debt, but we're trying for that lottery win. If we get the lottery win, dude, you're coming down here. We're gonna get the fucking commune set up. You don't have to come down.
I'm gonna have to.
We'll have a spare manufactured home on the property with its own.
Well, I was gonna say the whole idea of the helicopter, because I wanted to fly by helicopter and be all cool. Look at me, I'm like Elon Musk and all those guys. But the maintenance, I was thinking, okay, helicopter pilot's going to be expensive, but if I got like Mega Millions, no problem. The maintenance on that thing, no, thank you. Because I was going to go all old Huey, nothing fancy, just get some surplus. But seeing what that stuff entails, yeah, no. I'm going to get me a nice RV and go road trip instead.
Sounds like a good plan. But I'll get my VA stuff handled. It's now in motion, so we're good.
The most important thing about a colonoscopy is farting at the end. So if you don't fart, you don't leave. So as long as you can pass some gas after the routine inspection, you'll do fine.
I don't know if you're familiar with this stuff right here. This is how I quit.
I've heard of it.
This is how I quit drinking beer.
Mm-hmm.
This is my beer replacement. It's not alcohol. It's water. It's carbonated spring water with lime in it. and it tastes like a squirt, but they sucked out all the high fructose corn syrup. So I drink about 4 of those a day, and afterwards I sound like Louis Anderson at a Chinese buffet. Louis Anderson before death.
You know what you should do, and this is a bad idea.
What?
Get yourself a little Jack or Jen and some lime, and mix the two with some ice. You got yourself a nice little safe cocktail. But that's kind of counterproductive of what you're doing. So, and I'm not a medical professional, so don't take anything I say as godsend.
Okay.
But that sounds really tasty.
You're the second person to talk to me about getting gin. Matt Thompson was the first. Matt Thompson is a very nice man, but he's always advertising, I should try gin. I should try gin. He never advocates for a lot of other stuff, but gin. He's always about gin. So we watched this documentary, and I'm not even certain how we can approach this as a discussion topic because.
Well, I was going to say that I thought it was very interesting the fact that they chose the 1980s to pick
Why?
the movies from the 1980s, from 1980 all the way through to, I guess, 1989, right?
Yeah, like
Not that far yet.
Prior to the 90s.
Yeah. Okay. But so
That's
we're in
pinnacle of
1985.
science fiction and all that.
So basically, this documentary pretty much proves that the 80s kicked ass when it came to making movies, and the advancement of special effects, writing of screenplays. Like when he was talking about Ghostbusters, the one gentleman was talking about Ghostbusters, and that Dan Aykroyd wrote the script, okay, and that it was basically about 4 different groups of Ghostbusters in 4 different planets, basically fighting ghosts. And that was his whole story. So they basically took that and rewrote it to come up with the movie, the first original Ghostbusters movie. So I thought all that stuff, the little details that they gave us, but to me, the whole aspect of thinking about it in the 80s, because when they backed up and you saw the whole wall of all the boxes, from the movies.
All the movies.
I was just going, oh my God, my mouth was watering because I'm like, oh my God, I would love to own all those movies. I mean, that is a mine, a diamond mine, filled with awesome memorabilia, basically to sit. I mean, you would never run out of stuff to watch. And most of it looked like it was a movie you'd watch more than once, multiple time movies.
Janet.
It was just awesome.
Janet.
Yeah.
I am a huge fan of subject. I started this project on Sundays, or the girl, a guy in a movie, because of the fact that I wanted somebody around Generation X, if not Generation X. I wanted somebody around my age to bounce off ideas and discuss things when cinema and entertainment was a higher quality, higher caliber. This decade of movies that they examine in this, to me, it's not the pinnacle of media, but it's within the golden age of sci-fi.
That would be a better descriptor for it.
Yeah, this is the golden age for me, because up till about 95, I think, is when the cutoff is, because after 96, 95, CGI takes such a huge influence, and they replace a lot of craftsmanship that would normally be found in models and miniatures and things like this that I fuck with. I don't do this professionally, guys. I'm just a hobby painter I have a game I'm writing. I run D&D. I'm not in the media. I'm not in the movies. Just for you that are new, you need to understand. I'm just a dungeon master. Janet's one of my players. Six Nation 31 Kings is one of my players. I paint miniatures on stream or on YouTube or on Discord, and this is my hobby because I have a job that otherwise takes me away from it, and I need to pay
Mhm.
for my housing and all that. So this is what I do for fun. But after
It's
95,
reality stuff.
everything in sci-fi kind of changed, and you see that with the attitudes that were in Voyager and Deep Space Nine. You see that in as their show, the TNG was wrapping up, and more importantly, the burgeoning shows at the time, which I don't want to say Andromeda or like Farscape or Space Above and Beyond or Babylon 5 are included in that because they're kind of the impetus. They're kind of the pivot point from going from miniatures and practical effects to
Mhm.
CGI. And with that, they had to develop a whole new skill set to get their vision translated to the media. I mean, they could have done everything with miniatures and all that, but they elected to go a different route. And so I think that a lot of it now after 95 is a different taste of science fiction or the possibility of the future, which is still an enjoyable discussion to be had. And
Mhm.
we are going to discuss B5 at some point, maybe season by season. Uh, I'm not going to endeavor to be like, yeah, we're going to do it episode by episode, and we're just going to replace the entire, discussion point of Girl, Guy, in a Movie, and we're just going to talk B5 for the next 6 years. No, I'm not going to. I
No, I
want.
think a season is good because you can just go over the basics, and
Yeah,
high points of seasons. Yeah, I think that would work.
I think I think that's really good to do that. Like Clobby and Raquel did an amazing show analyzing episode by episode by
Mhm.
episode of the things they love, from
Yeah.
UFO to Star Trek to other like Blake Seven, things I've yet to spend my time on, which I want to. I need to have like a tragic accident happen where I have to rehabilitate my hips into like a functional mass so I can have an excuse to be laid down for a while because I won't be able to do it otherwise.
Yeah.
Hey, Sword Opus, how you doing, sir? Zombie?
Yeah,
Uh,
this movie, how it started out with Star Wars as like the catalyst for all these cinematic changes and stuff,
yeah,
kind of reminded me of the movie Hondo, where John Wayne's character Hondo Lane picks up that kid and tosses him in the water. He's like, I don't know how to swim. You don't know how to swim. Chucks him
yeah,
in. That's the feeling I
yeah,
got with what they were starting the film with. It
yeah.
was like,
Because
this is the new stuff. We don't know how to use it exactly. Like, we've got the older stuff to work with, like Ray Harryhausen and whatnot, but we got all this new stuff. And it's like sink or swim.
we
Let's go
we
for it.
still
And it just happened to gel.
Hmm.
we still used Harryhausen with all the Bradbury stuff, but the pivot point is Star Wars. The pivot point isn't just Star Wars. It's actually I can focus it on one individual, because George Lucas, as much as I like him, he's no John Dykstra. John Dykstra is the man behind the camera that you never see, and he's in maybe 2% of all the interviews about Star Wars. But he was responsible for programming the computers, getting the hardware right, to where we could film the ships in space accurately.
Hmm.
And without him, there'd be no revolution in the sci-fi the way it was. John Dykstra is the man that he was so important. And I'm so happy they gave him his 3 or 4 minutes in this film to discuss things. And then they also go over in 1980 and then 1983, they go over Empire Strikes Back and in Return of the Jedi, which is another chance for them to stride out John Dykstra, which we we really need to have more John Dykstra discussing things, because his pioneer spirit and the way that he came about it, about his discoveries with the effects, I think that's really an important part of the media. That's you can't have this without John Dykstra, and I'm so happy that he had a chance to discuss things. He's been blessed with a good long life, and he's done things right. And here he was a few years ago filming for this. This was amazing to watch.
Yeah,
And
it was really good. Little things that they showed you, especially for someone who doesn't know a lot about what it takes in the background to make movies. The way that they, even having Will Wheaton in it, okay, him talking about how he was a featured extra, and basically that's where he started getting his start, right? He was an extra, and then he got pulled from just being an extra to be featured in a scene with someone else, because that happens all the time. I saw it happen many times when I was a stand-in and stuff like that, because you're always on set, basically, because you have to make sure you're keeping everything ready for the main actor when they come in. But the thing is, when he did they talked about like the models, which I love, because I love the details. Like you said, you had to have all the little windows and the little knobs and all the little lights and everything on there. But to have it in those big tanks with the smoke, when he was talking about the one scene in Star Trek where they're in the nebula and it's spinning around, it's beautiful. It's breathtaking. I just love stuff like that. I go to see lots of movies just because I see the scenery, okay, the mountains and the sky and all the different things. I absorb all that kind of thing. Just like when we watched Wind River, it was absolutely beautiful scenery. And I like all different aspects when I'm looking at the overall theatrical part of the movie, because just like they were all saying, well, most of them were saying, is the fact that you can't just have good characters. You have to have all the other stuff to keep you inside the movie, entertained by it. Because one flaw here, one flaw there, you start getting back, you start getting pulled out of it.
Yeah.
And being sucked into it is the main reason why you have hits. Why you have a movie that people want to see over and over and over again is when you get all those dots connected, and it just becomes this massive winner. Basically, you can't win, you can't lose, because it has something for everyone and keeps you entertained in the movie. And I loved how they went back and forth and talked about the makeup and the costumes and the models and the creatures that they made, how they did it, like the suits. Did you know that about the suits from Dune? That each one of them was individually made for each of their bodies?
They had to be individually made. Otherwise, there'd be no way they could be wearing that. And
I just thought it was freaking awesome.
That is so much prep work to get that properly set up for each individual actor that's going to be in a still suit. The freaking survival suit for Dune, and then I've watched this before, and I remember poor Sean Young. God, she's still a beautiful lady. She is. She's proof that you can be attractive when you're over the age of 55. Good for her.
Yeah.
She's like, you didn't drink anything, and you were on set for 8 or 12 hours, and you didn't drink anything because you didn't want to have to be responsible to tell everybody else, I got to go pee, and you have to peel yourself out for a half hour of your suit. It takes you a half hour to get it all fitted back on proper.
And they're filming out in the Mexican desert. That's epic.
Yeah.
And then she said you were covered from head to toe with dirt, so you had to wash all your crevices and clean yourself up every night, when you got back to your place. I just thought it was great, because that's the kind of stuff that people don't know about. You don't understand how much work and how many people are out there. That's why I tell people, if you ever see a sign that says they're filming or they're doing this or that, and you see the little signs out there, go see if you can see some of it, because I wish more people could just get a glance of how many actual people are involved, all the cables, all the cameras, all the different crew members and stuff. I mean, there's hundreds of people at everyone, even though they might have a small part where they're just filming a small part in the movie, you're still going to have hundreds of people working, because you got to have people cooking, you got to have people doing the costumes, people doing the makeup, people taking care of the cameras. I mean, it's just tons of stuff. The storyboards, they're always there. You always have someone that has a storyboard and he's moving it around, and it's over by the director's chairs with the other producers that can come in and watch and see what's going on at any time. You know, it's just it's busy. It's constantly going. Then you have the group that's a second crew, which is the stand-ins and the stunt people and all that. And then you have the other first crew, which is the actors and the main characters and stuff that are going to be in a scene. So it's like you just go back and forth constantly with the same sets. And it's just a lot of work. And to see it broke down the way they're doing this documentary is just genius. They did a great job at explaining it to laymen, you know. I loved it.
I'm in love with this show. It does take me back quite a bit, and I was not aware of the celestial genetics that Catherine Mary Stewart had in her, but she's like unearthly beauty.
Yeah, she looks great. Really good.
Yeah. I mean,
when they were discussing the CGI, when they were discussing the CGI during like Tron and Flight of the Navigator and whatnot, I had a memory of Amazing Stories, and I think it was actually triggered with the young Sherlock Holmes, because I remember that movie and being completely terrified of the hallucination bit with the stained glass night, and it's like hokey by today's standards, but then I started thinking about Amazing Stories and that whole CGI opening, and like at that time it was becoming more prevalent and people were getting their chops and learning how to do things better. And it was just an interesting memory there that popped up with that discussion of the use of CGI. And like at the time it was like, okay, here we are doing stuff and people are acting and there's like nothing around them. Like I would assume it would be like staring at the tennis ball on a stick type of thing.
Yeah.
Only probably lower budget than that. And that could like seriously make or break a major production. Well, you know, Tron actually kicked it out of the park with that. And
that was really interesting, listening to what the actors were saying and how they just held a stick and leaned forward. And it really helps you realize, dang, they're a really good actor to be doing that acting with nothing there. There's absolutely nothing. You see, when he was explaining that, because they're in an empty room, there's nothing there, but we see stuff because the movie we're seeing, and it's all added to it after they filmed it. And a lot of it's just, I thought it was just amazing how they broke it all down for everyone. It just made it really, really interesting to explain all the details, especially like when they were talking about the Eric Stoltz. And then they showed you scenes of Eric Stoltz in Back to the Future that no one ever saw, because they ended up saying he just didn't have the chemistry they wanted. That's what I'm saying. It really does make a difference. And when that one director said, well, you know, getting a really good actor, it's very expensive, but it's worth it when they're a good actor. When it all clicks, you get what you pay for, supposedly. So I thought it was amazing so far.
It maintains this level of quality throughout the entire show.
Yeah, you know, because you've seen it already, but I'm excited about it.
I had to. I can't have this available to me and not be like, wait, what about this? What is this good? Is this going to be good for us on Sundays? it surprised me very much that this 1980.
I had my mic off, but when they showed the critters, I squealed.
Oh yeah,
I
I was
remember
kind of
grade
giddy
school watching that
on
movie,
some
and
of
I
the
was just like, "Oh
scenes.
my god!"
I was sitting there going, oh, excited, getting to watch some of the scenes that we got to see, the outtakes and how they went about doing it. But one of the scenes I just thought was just phenomenal to be so talented is when they showed that they use those big giant pieces of glass for backdrops, like when you saw them standing looking down at the alien ship from The Thing.
Yeah, matte
But it's
painting
not really
is still,
there. Okay. And they
art
use
right there.
glass because when they put the lighting effects behind it, it makes it like the sun is going down or whatever on the city or whatever it is that they've put there. It's just amazing. I just thought it was, and you couldn't tell. I couldn't tell when I was watching the movie. Everybody just assumes it's CGI today, even when they're watching an older movie.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to see the detail of that, the artist that painted that, just so awesome. I mean, just think about how much it could cost to buy that giant piece of glass with that painting on it to be able to put that in your house. I guess maybe I'm just the only weird person that would think about buying something like
I'd be okay with this. I'm not upset about the idea of this. Sounds good.
I just think that would be freaking cool as hell to put that in, take a wall out of your house and just put it right there, frame it up and put that big, beautiful scene. It's just breathtaking. I just love it. I love that type of stuff, to see the talent in these people and how much work and detail they went in. Because you can remember, they didn't have a huge budget. And a lot of the things, just like the sign or when they were burnt the thing, it was garbage bags and it melted down by using a torch behind it to put in the trailer at the beginning or at the ending of the trailer for The Thing. Just things like that, improvising with what they had. And when you showed me that movie, what was it? The Darkness Rising. And I just loved it. And I was so giddy to watch it, to see how much work they did to make like the purple long john costume and some of the sets. You could tell they worked really hard to make it good, funny, entertaining, and on a budget. And it was still good. It's just nice for someone like me. I enjoy those things. I enjoy watching and looking and seeing the work that they did. And I don't know. I just get excited. Getting happy seeing what a great job they did, and they should be so proud of themselves. And that's how I felt when I was watching this first half of this documentary.
This movie, if you're part of the fandom of science fiction movies, if your idea of a good time is watching a couple unaired episodes of or deleted scenes of Star Trek, then I think this movie really should speak to you, and it should be something that you spend 5 hours delving into and just discovering some old gems from the past. And granted, there's a couple groans I made because one, they brought out Barry Bostwick, which I love him. He's Brad in a movie I've never seen, but everybody else talks about and won't shut up about whenever it's at the drive-in. And I'm talking about Rocky Horror Picture Show. But he's also in one of my favorite comedies of all time, FDR, American Badass, which we will need to review.
I haven't seen that one.
It's great because he plays FDR, and the Nazis are actually werewolves that give polio when they bite
that's right. You have told me about it.
It's bad. It's wonderful. Yeah, it was a nightmare to make. Yeah. But Barry Bostwick was in Megaforce, which Megaforce, when I first saw the adverts for it, I was like 8 or 7. So when I saw that as a kid, like, oh, they have flying motorcycles, I want to see this movie. And just watching the bits of it on here, and they show you like Mattel was instrumental in showing us what they could do, and what our props should look like, what our equipment should look like. I'm looking at this stuff like the most basic ass polygonal shapes. Like it looks like old PlayStation 1 polygon.
Yeah, but he even said that he was told the movie was specifically made for 12-year-olds.
Yes.
And I heard him say hell, a couple of dirty words when they were showing some of the little scenes there. And the outfits, oh my God, they were horrid.
Did you like that man trapped in the spandex?
They were leftovers from like
it
some
looked like he wasn't wearing any
era.
underwear at all. It was very embarrassing.
Except
but he seemed like he enjoyed it when he was talking about it. He said, I just jumped right back into the spandex or whatever.
It was B-movie schlock.
I had a really good laugh out of all that part of it. So I'm glad my mic was off for that
just
part.
Just a chance to pour him on in his outfit again. I mean, he's the problem.
You got to remember, like the kids were being marketed to by lunchboxes back when they were still metal and then the B-movie Italian cinema scene was like going off the hook with the all the Star Wars ripoffs, the Mad Max ripoffs.
Yeah, what was the one?
Anything and everything that could have explosions, freaking desert, and shit just tacked on to anything with wheels.
We had Italian cinema and Canon Films.
Yeah.
Okay. At some point, this channel will delve into an exploration of movies into both of those dumpster fires, which I love Canon Films. But good God.
The dark side of cinema.
Now, mind you, I'm also a very large fan of Death Wish 3. That's like one of the finest pieces of celluloid ever created. And I think anybody who loves good cinema will probably like it, unless you're Marina Sirtis, where she has a grape scene in that on a cold mattress. And she's complaining, like, give me the blanket, I'm cold. And he's like, no, I have to film it, have your tits out. It's like the worst scene ever. And then, like, later on, whenever she would get in front of a crowd for Star Trek, she would always have PTSD flashbacks and say how grateful she is to Star Trek for taking her out of the bad movie scene. Which, I mean, I feel sorry for her to a point, but then she starts with her TDS again on Twitter, and I'm like, fuck you, bitch. Speaking of TDS, somebody had TDS today and took a couple pot shots at our boy, and really, like, you caused your own bullshit, dude. It'll be interesting. You know, I'm sad that they didn't learn the first time. Like, this guy's protected. I don't think you understand the level of protection he's got. Like, the first time he turned his head at a divinely inspired moment and only got nicked in the ear. He was told to turn his head. This time somebody starts racking off shots, and he's no longer a member of the Free Society. He's detained. So
no, that's sad. But
it's.
But the
one got a month and a half left. So
yeah, that one. Well, you got to remember, even it's never going to end now. Okay, because they don't want him in the White House. Period. But let me go on to that. Other thing is,
like I said, 10 years of this shit. Like, it's not unheard of.
Do we want to boogaloo against anything that goes to Davos? Because I'm of the mindset that if you're in favor of the fucks that go to Davos, we just need to put you in the chipper shredder. I
can't properly boogaloo because guys made it cringe to wear Hawaiian shirts, and those things are damn comfy and awesome. So now I got to like find a members only jacket or something and some freaking 80s neon gas station glasses to get my boogaloo going.
Totally need to get some.
But what was the name of the movie about the space station with Farrah Fawcett?
Saturn 3.
Oh, that was Saturn 3.
Saturn 3. I've never seen that, but now I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to rent that so I can see it.
You want to?
Not because
awesome
I want to
movie.
see. Not because I want to see him naked. But I just want to understand what the whole reason for the movie was, because it was funny that I guess he's a huge actor, right? And he made lots of money. He was very popular because my mom she said he was okay. She didn't really, but my dad liked him. My dad thought he was a really good actor. But the scene where he's rolling around on the ground, and he's
Harvey
butt ass
Keitel.
Butt
naked.
naked.
Yeah, he's butt ass
Kirk
naked. He's
Douglas.
fighting some guy, and the guy's just laying there with his hands, not even using his hands to defend himself. I got to
Harvey
find out
Keitel,
why.
the pimp
Was he
from
a robot or something?
Taxi Driver.
That's what I
Yeah.
was saying. It just didn't make any sense, but now I got to watch it. It's definitely looked like a B-rate, B-rate.
It is.
Mr.
It's
Wolf versus
glorious.
Spartacus.
But the thing is, we watched that movie with the one about the ship that goes back in time. We did watch that one with him in it.
Flight of the
And it was pretty
Navigator.
good.
No. she's
Paul
talking about
Rubens
Final
as the
Countdown.
alien.
Final Countdown.
Final Countdown.
Oh, the Final Countdown.
Mm-hmm. And I'd
That
never
was
seen it,
One of the
so
first movies I
it was
introduced.
pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good movie. It was very well done, I thought, considering it was mostly filmed on a ship, in close quarters.
Like
And,
I don't know what miracle they used when they recorded that movie. Like Navy ships are fucking you get hearing loss just for being on one for like 4 or 5 hours because just the constant whirring of the fans and the AC units and just all the shit needed to keep the ship operating at a good temperature so you don't cook in the bilges. That, like, the fact they were able to drown out most of that noise and get everything on film with the miracle they did, it's almost the perfect Navy film. The fact that they were able to splash some zeros is just kind of, just the sprinkling on the top, but it's a good movie.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was good, and I had never seen it.
I can't believe that your dad didn't make you watch that at some point because your
Yeah.
daddy was
A
Air
war
Force.
film like that.
My dad made me sit and watch like those movies he had on that real thing. He set it up and
Like 8mm.
I brought all those cameras and stuff home. Remember I told you
16mm
about
film.
it when I came back?
Let me find something here. I think I know exactly.
And it was all films of my dad, okay? And he had
Like a Super
him
8?
taking young guys out there and filming them while they were having to clean deer and do all this different stuff. That's the kind of stuff my dad would sit and make us watch. So he didn't really make us watch lots of movies or anything. My mom's the one that loved movies. So we rather watch movies with my mother because all those, but I have all those movies. I have all those little films now and stuff. I brought a bunch. I've been bringing lots of stuff back with me since my dad's not there. He's at my other sister's. And it's because I don't want him to get, eaten by mice or whatever. So I'm bringing all that stuff home. Remember he had that camera and you look down in it and it has a big flash thing on the top of it. And I've found a whole bunch of a camera that you do the cranking on because my dad was really into filming and making all kinds of stuff. And I brought all that. I've been bringing all that stuff home with me. So I'm getting a real good collection going.
I think this is what Janet might be talking about.
I-Corps, or the 3rd Marine Amphibious Force Area, covers the 5 northern provinces of South Vietnam.
Stuff like this is what Janet was used to.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit. But not really that one. His was survival stuff,
Yeah.
With them trekking through stuff with the big snow boots on and hanging stuff in a tree and how they built a tent using their parachute, things like that. That's what I watched with my dad. So survival.
I've seen two of those survival films. One was like desert survival, and the other one was Arctic survival.
Yeah,
He
had different jungle.
But it was like from the 60s, late 50s,
he had one
and I think
video.
mid-60s.
He took a camera and he had it set up outside of a cave, a little cave area, and it was a big opening in front of it, and it was a rock, and that's where he set the camera, at least from the angle they could see. And you see a bunch of Negritos going into this cave like thing dwelling, and there's some smoke coming out of the top. I guess they had a fire in there or something because I didn't see inside. But you see my dad and like 3 other guys, and they're in uniforms, and they holding this skull looking thing. Okay. And he walks over to the camera and he pushes a button or something on it, and it starts going, oh, laughing or making noise or something like that. And then they all giggle a little. Then he takes it into the cave and you see him in there for a minute, and all of a sudden you see all the Negritos come running out. So, he'd do practical jokes and stuff like that because that was the skull, that scared him, I guess. And he'd laugh about it a little bit, but he said that they were very naive, things like that. So I don't know. So my dad did play jokes on people and things.
Fair enough. I can only imagine.
And make
That
videos.
reminded
Make
me of a
movies.
childhood fear of mine. I must have been like 5 years old.
Laughing skulls.
Well, no, I got a skull from Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the gift things. I think I got a pirate hat, a flintlock pistol, and a skull
Mm-hmm.
after writing Pirates of the Caribbean. And I didn't know that it glowed in the dark. And my stepfather found out that it did. And I kept it in a drawer full of knickknacks and crap that I would, like my treasure drawer for my dresser. And he found out that it glowed in the dark. So one night he puts it underneath the lamp and then puts it out on top of the dresser. And I wake up to go use the bathroom. And there's a glowing skull in my room, and I freak out and nearly piss myself.
Oh.
And I thought there was a ghost in the room, but it was just a glow in the dark skull that I didn't realize glowed in the dark.
We used to do a lot of stuff like that. I remember Sandy and I taking a pillow and putting pants and stuff on it and a shirt. And we had a doll that we used to do its hair and stuff. And we stuck it in there as a head and we laid it in the bathtub. And then we put some boots, on my dad's boots. My dad wasn't home because he was gone a lot, doing his job. And then we took a butcher knife and we stabbed it in the middle of the chest. And then we poured ketchup in there. Okay, and we waited, and it was sliding doors. It was all like wavy, had like you couldn't see in, but you could see shadows and stuff. And it had a window up high, and the window curtain was closed. And we left, and we went out because we knew that my mom would want to take a bath, so she would have to open the door and reach in and, turn the water on because she'd take a bath. So we waited. Because we were in our bedroom, so we just went to our room and laid down on our bed. We heard the blood curdling scream of my mother, I guess, when she looked and saw the body laying in the tub, and then she kept running into our room with a belt and started whipping our ass. So we got what we deserved, but we scared her. So us, kids do all that shit. Even girls. So. Well, I remember that. We deserved it, though.
Yeah, my brother and I, we got even with my stepdad one year. My brother had a Ronald Reagan mask from one Halloween. I went as a Conehead. He went as Ronald Reagan. And and we just kept those things for years. And one night we decided to go up to the upstairs bathroom of our townhouse. And we always kept that window kind of cracked open.
Mm-hmm.
And it had frosted glass, so you couldn't really see out. You could see light come in, but it would only be shadows and whatnot. And then we propped up the mask on a broom or a mop. And it was supposed to be sitting there like somebody was in the upstairs bathroom. And we totally forgot about it because it was supposed to be when he comes home, he sees somebody in the upstairs bathroom that he doesn't recognize and freaks out. But he didn't notice it. He came home, we were doing some stuff, and then we went out to eat, and then we came back. And then that's when he noticed. And he thought somebody had broken into the house. And so he goes running in, all wannabe John Wick. And then we ended up being grounded for a week. But other than that, the joke worked really well.
Yeah. Well, kids are kids. That's what, I think we all do something dumb like that growing up. I think that's one of our, lack of brain cells or until our brain matures or so. I don't know. I can't tell you, but yeah, we all do that stuff. But the thing is, I loved horror ever since I was a kid. I don't know why. I liked getting scared, sitting on the edge of the corner of the couch, chewing my nails or whatever. Because it's fun to be scared. I mean, sometimes I'd have nightmares, but most of the time I knew it was fake. You know, I knew it wasn't real, but it was nice to get a jolt, you know, to get scared. But I just thought it was great watching it. And they haven't even done, when did American Horror Story, not American Horror Story, but American Werewolf in London come out?
They're not going to do that on this one. They've got a horror and they've got.
Is that 90? Is that
Nope.
90?
No, that was 80.
81.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was,
Well,
it was
the
that
thing is,
period. It was right after John Landis did Blues Brothers, I think.
oh, because man, I mean, it was just, oh, because it's not sci-fi, is it?
No.
That's why. Okay. That's why I was thinking, I was waiting to see some of these other movies, and I'm like, well, they missed this one. I thought it came out in that year or whatever, but I thought maybe I was just wrong.
They
It'd
didn't
be
really-
interesting to see that one.
The funny thing is that for what I like, there's a weekend in spring or summer '82
Mhm.
that really we could just make 10 weeks of content on, because you have Blade Runner and The Thing and E.T. all comes out that same Friday.
They all came out on the same weekend?
Yep.
I
And
didn't
you
even
had-
realize that.
You had The Thing, which we've done 2 episodes on. We did 2 episodes back to back on because I didn't have another selection. I'm like, I want to talk about The Thing some more. And we did.
Mhm. Yeah. It was an awesomeness. It was a great movie. It had
film.
everything in it.
Best horror movie I've ever seen.
Mhm.
And because the movie just makes you think that it makes you it what happens in your head is far more gruesome than what Rob Bottin put on screen.
Mhm.
And even in this sci-fi extravaganza which we just watched, they still had some discussion about Rob Bottin and stills of him doing the miniature work for The Thing, which I thought was fantastic.
Yeah,
And
The
they-
Thing's one of my favorite scary movies, too,
What I-
of all time.
What I appreciate the most is that Rob Bottin, he was the tallest member of the Cantina band in 77 Star Wars. He was an extra.
Mhm.
And then Rick Baker, his mentor, got into American Werewolf on London. And so whoever was directing The Howling was like, I need somebody that's really good. And so he applies for The Howling and he gets it. And he does all the stuff
That was
for
epic.
The Howling and American Werewolf in London are 2 great movies. We'll have we got to do a twofer when we review that, because
Yeah, don't we have one of those
not yet.
this year on Halloween or near
yet.
Halloween? Oh,
Not
okay.
yet.
I thought we did, but
We're
Yeah,
gonna
we
have
need-
to do a twofer on that, because those are released within like
Double
2 weeks of
feature.
each other. Yeah, we'll do a double feature of The Howling and the American Werewolf in London. But Rick Baker worked on American Werewolf in London. He also did a lot of effects work for Star Wars. He took his kid to work day for Star Wars, so basically he takes Rob Bottin to work with Star Wars, and he was helping out with Cantina stuff. And when it came time to shoot, they had some extra outfits. Hey, you tall guy, get in that and get over here, pretend like you're playing in a band. And that was Rob Bottin making his extra money there at the I think they were, did they film that in Tunisia, the Cantina? I know they
Yeah.
did the exterior shots in Tunisia, but I don't know if they did the
I think it was on a soundstage, but I know
soundstage.
some of the scenes were done in Tunisia.
Yeah. Warrior says, I'm here and I'm wearing socks only. Where we get it. This is a pantsless stream, sir. Welcome.
I'm not wearing any pants.
Neither am I. In fact, if
I'm
Janet
wearing
would-
pants.
if
I'm
Janet
wearing
would've
pants.
told me-
And see, I'm wearing my sci-fi shirt, my one, the Ship Happens shirt that I got when I went to Roswell.
Giggity.
So I'm wearing clothes. I've got clothes on.
Janet ruins the
Yeah.
mood, of course. We're gonna have to set up a stream for Hedonism 3 or something. I don't know.
Well, I have
It's
stuff
a
like
nice
this.
76 degrees, so I'm going pantsless today, and I'm not free balling, but I got shorts on.
It's fucking 93 over here.
It's 93 where you're at right now.
I'm not
Yeah.
complaining because we've had like 3 days with a little bit of rain,
Mhm.
and it hasn't been in the 90s or 100s, so I'm cool with that. y'all can keep your heat.
Crafting Gamer flexes his 11-month membership. You have to do, sir, appreciate that. You don't have to do that, but I appreciate it.
Snorter Poop just says, "What are pants?"
So since we're kind of on the subject of cinema and horror, in my couple of weeks off of hanging with you guys, I was watching some YouTube videos of like Grim Life Collective and a few others that do filming locations, famous grave sites. Like Grim Life Collective does mostly like horror films or crime or weird, edgy shit like that. But they had done what was it? Halloween 3 filming location. They did The Birds.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, The Birds, like there's the scene where the kids are all getting pecked by the crows
At the school,
and they're all running down the street. Well, there's this big blue house at the very end, like as you're looking at the focal point of the shot, there's a big blue house, and then you see the lake or the bay. And and that wasn't there. That was a matte painting, but it looked like an actual house. In fact, there was a couple of facades in that film, but that one house, I always thought it was like an actual house at the end of the street. And then I guess in the 70s, there was an actual fire that burned a lot of the buildings and locations where they shot. So like the actual pier isn't existing anymore other than a couple of posts sticking out of the water. But that one house, I thought maybe it had been burned down, or, over the last 60 years, stuff changes. But no, it was actually a matte painting that somebody had done of a big blue house. And I was like, oh yeah. And it got me thinking, like when they were describing how some of these movies that put all the toys in the toy box to make the film. So they had like stop motion animation. They had miniatures.
Mm-hmm. And models.
Giant prosthetics and whatnot. And then like matte painting. Like there is some talented MFers out there that do phenomenal work. And they don't get enough credit for it. And it's usually the backgrounds. Mm-hmm. You think, oh, that's a miniature. No, that was a painting, or vice versa.
Did you see the part where they had the movie from the Alien movie? And I remember when it first came out, a lot of people were saying it was a giant robot or whatever, that they'd put plastic and stuff over or whatever. And I believed it for a long time. And then when I started doing stuff, then I realized, they were probably using a lot more puppetry and costumes than we realized. It's just that they did such a good job, because remember the one scene they show where he opened the thing at the roof when he was looking through to see the little area where all the wires go, right, on the ship. And you saw all the alien creatures crawling through the crevices, coming towards him. It was like 20 of them, and they all had those cool costumes and stuff on. That was really scary. I remember that in the movie. It came back when we saw that, but those were all people in costumes, and they did great. And just like you said, you get people from theater, from like Broadway and other theater shows, and they're the ones you want to wear the costumes, because they have this the way they move. They can move.
You got the physicality for it.
Normal person, yeah. So it just like in the movie The Fifth Element, the woman that sang, the opera singer, the way she moved when she was on stage and stuff, she was very dramatic yet elegant. I can't explain it, but she did good. She did a really good job being believable to be an alien, with the way her body was and her fingers being really long and things like that. I think that makes a big difference to hire somebody that's trained in a certain way than just grabbing somebody, that's standing in the background. and grabbing them and say, hey, put this on. We're going to use you for this, depending on what you're going to do with it. But it really does help, I feel, now that I've learned a little bit about some of these, the way they did some of these movies, why it was so good and why it was so believable, because they did use different, all the different ways to fill in the gap, to like that head that fell off the body, because at first you'd have the person laying there moving and moving their mouth and stuff, and then you would use a change of the camera angle, and then you see the head slowly like melt off the body, and then the legs sprout out and it crawls off, and everybody's like, what the fuck, when they're looking at it. Remember that scene? It was so freaking scary. The Thing just had so much.
You kidding me?
That was so good. Yeah, that's right. And he was one of the aliens, the guy that said that we didn't know that at the time, but it was a really well done. I mean, overall, with all of it, with the dog changing and stuff, and they said it was puppets in there. They had 3 people or whatever using hands and stuff like that in there. Yeah. That was interesting because it looked. I mean, I remember crying because I felt so bad for those dogs, even though I knew they weren't really dying. And I cried during the whole ET shit, when they were talking about it. And you saw little Drew Barrymore crying. And
oh my God, Drew Barrymore has regressed in her intelligence since.
Oh, I know, but boy, was she cute in that movie. She was so adorable. All those kids.
She was cute until her first issues of People magazine came out, and you realize she's 13 and it's not going to get any better than this, because
I didn't like her as much when I found out she was going to be in, I think it was Firestarter.
Yeah.
And I saw her in that compared to her in E.T. I didn't think she was as good an actress in that as she was in E.T. She was more believable to me.
She's really not a good actress. You're right.
But she was so cute in E.T. to me.
She is a cute kid.
When she's watching him and they did the thing to jolt him, you know what I mean? And she jumped. Oh, just ripped my heart out. In the scene we just watched. Yeah, I started crying.
I was crying because
maybe it's just that I'm hormonal or something. I don't know.
Watching her view E.T. trying to get resuscitated, it reminded me of being 7 years old and watching that scene, and that broke your heart.
Yeah, it was. I just remember just bawling my eyes out, and every single time I watched it, I cried. Because I couldn't help it. I just loved E.T., and it was sad that he was dying, and the boy was going to die because they were connected. Oh, it was such a good movie. Just loved it. And they made all those changes though, because they had guns on their belts, and next thing you know, there are no guns, and now they're flashlights, or Well,
that's the 20th anniversary of ET, which doesn't really exist.
Ridiculous.
Kind of like, as much as I like the 2000
soccer moms. I blame the soccer moms.
Hoodwink has an outfit like that. I'd have to look at it and see.
I'm pretty certain we can make it happen.
Just don't Google Red Riding Hood costume, or make sure your safe search is on.
I have a couple of them.
We may be making a switch out of StreamYards here at some point, because I think they're raising their rates, and I'm not really copacetic with it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 100% raise on this, we're going to use Restream.
There is another one. There is something else.
Yeah, there's a Restream, which is, I'll show you how that works if that's going to happen.
Oh, good. I'll need you to share it with me. And another thing I was trying to find is I've been trying to research so that I can talk to people while I'm streaming on different things, like on Rumble and on X at the same time. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I hate about this service that we're using right now, is that I have to go to 3 different things to talk to people, and I just think that's stupid.
But
it's kind of a hassle. But if you think about it, it's a necessary evil, because, like, with all the censorship, the more platforms you can get on, it's going to be a pain in the ass. Set up accounts and do
just
alternate emails and whatnot.
Yeah, just the chat though. See how I can read right here on the side. I can see the people from X talking, and I can see stuff from Rumble or whatever. It all comes on here. But if I type on there, it doesn't go to X, and it doesn't go. It just only goes to YouTube. If I type right here on this while we're streaming. See, I think that's dumb, and I wish
Lady,
that
I went through that a couple of years ago. It's the wishy-washy policies of YouTube and their communist overlords.
Well, Jeej from StreamYards has she's been bought out.
Yeah.
And so they've got a new company, and they're going to raise their rates to recoup their loss. And I'm not really a big fan of this, so we're probably going to move over to Restream here in the next month or two. But I'll keep a free account on StreamYard so I can at least remember what shows I've got in the hopper.
Mm-hmm.
Warrior,
Well, we'll have to keep that.
that is such a nice gesture from her. She's offering to try those wet socks of yours.
Yeah, see, I had to go over to. I got X opened on a little corner over here, so I can talk to people over there because I can't if I type it over here. Which is
this is where I make a comment about socks and a certain lockdown in the recent past, and then we get a strike for medical misinformation. And
yeah, I still have a strike on my channel right now until October 10th.
Because that's a horrible way to waste potentially thousands of dollars of income right there.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I'm a little upset with the increase in price and not the increase in service. Just
Oh, they did add something. Remember, they added that you could go circles or round corners. Didn't they add that to yours?
Yeah, they did.
So see. You can change
this
it.
Is where we insert the meme of Ryan Gosling as a kid doing that $5 for $5 at Arby's, and then it's the $15 Arby's sandwich, and it's the Blade Runner 2049 pic of him all beat up. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and that one kid when he said. When they were talking about Blade Runners, the sets and how amazing it was and stuff, you had one or two people say how amazing it was, and then one kid said, "Yeah, that's what our future is going to look like if we don't take care of our planet and stuff." I was like, "You got to be kidding!" They have to put that shit in everything, even a documentary. That pissed me off. So I'm
a little upset that we're living in a dystopian future. Or a near dystopian future, and it's nowhere near like Hollywood envisioned it. Like, I feel gypped.
Yeah, I feel a little.
Like we don't have any space aliens. We don't have any mutants. There's no.
Yeah, we don't have
desert.
any.
We're not fighting for water. with Mad Max cars and cyborgs, and the only thing that makes sense is that war never changes.
War.
Well, it costs money. It costs more money now than it did years ago, I guess.
He's referring to the latest Unsubscribed podcast, Janet.
I don't know.
They talked extensively about the Fallout universe, which has always started every game with war. War never changes. Oh. And if you ever play any of the Fallout, you'll experience that.
No, I haven't got to play Fallout yet. I think it'd be fun if we all decide to start playing a game or something.
I think it'd be great if I could just.
I think it'd be funny as hell.
Off.
I think it'd be fun, but we gotta figure out how to do it. Do something like that.
Oh yeah, and I finally got around to finding the eight episodes of Fallout, and it wasn't all as bad as I thought it would be.
Oh, you watched the show?
There was a little bit of the current thing thrown in there, but Michael Rappaport, he only lasted a few minutes, which was great. And then frickin' Walton, he plays the ghoul, and that's like
Walton Goggins.
The best part of and
Yeah,
that's
he's great.
the best part of the show.
Hmm. So I watched it.
It
I
got a
watched
little
the whole season. One season of
got a
it.
little iffy when they were like talking about communism, and I know Moldiver wasn't the quote unquote communist, but it made it sound a little friendly with the communism thing.
I just
But
thought it was
I got
funny
over that.
the way that also that somebody brought it up. I don't remember exactly which one. Yeah, I think it was the woman, the one I was talking about that played Valquez or whatever her name was,
That's
from
it.
Alien.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Valquez. She made that comment about where we're heading. That, and if we're not careful, that we're going to have Russia, invading and all this different stuff with the nuclear war. When they were talking about that movie, War Games, and I'm like, I'm not worried about Russia. I'm not. I'm worried about China or Iran or
Well,
Hamas.
those are external
That's why
threats, and I would expect that from our enemies. I'm more
Mhm.
concerned about the assholes in government now.
Well,
They're
yeah, I'm worried about our own
leaving
government
things open.
too.
Like,
But
they
I
don't
mean,
ever
if
do
we're
movies
invading
about that.
or something. Mhm.
At least
I-
not
I-
recent.
Like War Games to me was such an important movie because I was 8 when it came out, 8 or 9, and I had no idea about like Red Scare. I had an idea that like nuclear bombs were bad because like that was what we talked about with various things going on, and just 40 years ago we blew 2 large craters in Japan with these wonderful weapons.
Yeah.
And my uncle got to come home, and now everybody's talking about it, and they've got this movie. My dad has to stop walking us in Lincoln, Illinois, and he wants to talk about this film because he wants me to understand what the threat of nuclear war is. And it was still lost on me, and so I had to watch more media as to what the nuclear war could possibly do, and
It went beyond the duck and cover. It went into like Threads and The Day After and
yeah.
all that sort of thing. Yeah.
Mr. Melton, I wouldn't say this is a fall of Rome. We only got it for 200 years, and the last 50 years has been a shit show thanks to the communists in higher education. I love, by the way, to talk shit about communists.
I would say Marxist.
Marxist, communist.
Well, let's just say socialist, and that way it encompasses it all.
Yeah.
I just want them to get a BBC to the face. So if you picture Saul Alinsky, which he would like it, or Karl Marx, he would like it too. Just getting them just a BBC right across, just this large coney dog of a dick, just whack. Because that is like.
I think we got memes to that.
That needs to happen to communists all over the planet. Most communists will welcome it because they're mostly like the party of the gay. Not that conservatives or Republicans or Christians or whatever demographic minority could be gay, but like in that mindset, being gay is celebrated because you despise and reject the creator. And even Saul Alinsky dedicated his shitty book, Rules for Radicals, to Lucifer. Like, first page. You guys get to see it. Fact check me. Go ahead. I don't care. But I just, like, people get upset because I'm like, oh, that's really brave of you, Bruce, telling the communists that, like, you would like to bury them. You're really sane and sensible person. Well, I mean, I don't want to have arguments and spend time wasting time when I could be enjoying my life instead, where, I just, the boogaloo, let's start. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, like I said earlier, like I've gotten along with people that I have opposed diametrically, ideologically, religiously. It's when you get into those larger groups, and stifle ideas and conversation that it becomes a problem. So like all this tech censorship, redoing ballots, Like all the crap that's happened in the last 15 years that has destroyed culture, society, trust in one another, and got us all tribalized. Like, yeah, socialism, communism,
I
not good.
like to go without it.
It's just scary thinking about all the people that seem to want us to do it. The ones that are afraid to get off the government tit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Once you pull the tit out of their mouth, they have to take care of themselves. And there's a lot of people that don't want to do that. That's why they hire more and more people to work for the government, you know.
And that's why they invite thousands upon thousands of countless migrants to come on over here and live in Springfield, Ohio, with or without the kiddie menu. Because nothing says we're going to cause a crisis by shoving 20,000 extra corpses into a town of only 58,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we've got a housing crisis now. Yeah, if you fuckers wouldn't ruin the fucking energy market to where we can't afford living.
Yeah, and then they'll tell the states that they sent all these people to that, well, we don't have the money to do this, that, and the other, and we're going to stop doing this, or we're not going to let them do this or that. And then they say, well, then we're not going to send any federal money. You see, it's like a catch-22. They set them up for failure.
All it ever is.
And it's all against the what the people choose, you know, what the people want to have. And they can't vote anything different or to make any changes because the federal government is, you know, saddled them with all these people that they have to take care of. It's interesting. That's what I'd like to find out, is the interesting why they put all these people on these buses or in planes and fly them to certain areas.
Well, I mean, they're just trying to add diversity to it, because otherwise they're just going to be old, white, rich people that vote right all the time. You know, we can't have that.
I don't know, but it sure is interesting. See, that's something I would really be interested in having a discussion on to find out. Having someone help us figure it out or find out, you know, who would we have to get a hold of to find out who's the one making the decision where they're going to go. Because, you know, next time they do the census, it's going to increase. So that means they can add a couple more state representatives, which changes over time the electoral college. You know what I'm saying? So it all goes.
If they can't get Texas, they'll make another state like Texas with more representatives to ultimately block every single decision and have a supermajority.
Yep. Or
that's why we have lawfare now.
Florida or flip Texas, and then they have all those electoral college votes. Yep. See, that's what scares me, is that could happen. And people could say, no, that will never happen. I was like, yeah, every one of your cities is neon blue.
And it sucks because, like, a lot of us aren't anti-immigrant. Like, if you go through the proper channels and you want to integrate into our culture.
Yeah, half my family's immigrants. So, you know, I understand that. But they all went the right way. You know, it took them years. And
but you just start giving people free shit, they're not going to respect anything. They're going to expect free shit. And then they got their own cultures and beliefs, and it's going to clash with the local population, and then there's going to be problems. And then that causes the disharmony and the lack of unity that we need to focus on the people that are causing the problems, perpetuates the evil that's going on.
I really want Kamala Harris to go through detox or through rehab. Because last time she was on television, I couldn't understand what she said. I had to watch it 3 times. She was slurring her words worse than I do when I'm sober. It sounds bad.
She's taking classes from Nancy Pelosi, apparently.
So that video that I posted of the body language a couple days ago, I got about halfway through that. Like, I had passed up the debates because I knew how it was going to be. There's going to be a 3-on-1 circus, and then, like, Trump would probably, you know, tone his shit down from 2016, but he wouldn't be moving the needle. Kamala wouldn't be moving the needle. It would just kind of be a stalemate, and I didn't want to deal with it. So then I started watching that body language video, and I could only stomach about 15 out of the 30 some odd minutes of it. It was painful to watch. And I don't know how the man does it. Like, I'd be losing my shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
But being in there for like 30 minutes with Kamala Harris and those damn moderators, like, ugh.
And the other thing was, you
Give
could
me a
tell,
pub and a couple of pitchers of beer, and have everybody sit down at the table all nice and drunk. Like, that would be more entertaining
yeah, but you
and
could tell that
easier on the mind.
the cameraman, okay, whoever the cameraman was or camera people, when they put the cameras in there, that they made sure that it was the height, it was set up for her. And they probably had the camera at one level instead of having two at two different levels, because Trump's a tall person. So it looked like he was all hunched over, you know, the angle they used on him and stuff. I mean, everything they did was to not flatter Trump at all. Was to make him look as unflattering as possible.
Ever since 2016, they've done everything that they can to smear his name, to discredit him.
You know what? People were saying, well, you know, Trump knew that was going to happen. He knew that if he did this debate, that they weren't going to be nice to him. So why did he do it? You know, that kind of stuff. So, you know, I don't know. So I just don't even talk to anybody about it. I try not to, because you can't, you know, get anybody to, you know, be fair or try to be fair about it. Saying if he doesn't do a debate, well, then he's a chicken. Or whatever, you know, see, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you say. They're going to find something negative about it. So I just thought it was a waste of time. Honestly, I already knew what she was going to say. They didn't ask her any hard questions. And the fact that she just keeps saying, if we had more money, and that when I get in there, I'm going to do this, that, and the other, the same bullshit they always say. She's already been in office 4 years.
Wasn't that lady? Wasn't she a sorority sister of Kamala Harris's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was something else too. Somebody, her husband or something like that, donated a bunch of money to their campaign, and, you know, just a bunch of shit. It just, it doesn't matter, because the only way that if you say, let's have a debate and we'll have it at Fox, but it has to be Jesse Waters, and you know, someone else do it, not the people that did it last time. Okay. And she will say no. She'll say no. But see, they'll say because we're piling up on her. But that's just exactly what they just did, because he's a man. So I guess he deserves to be piled on, and he's white, you know. So, you know, it's just bullshit. I don't know. It's just all bullshit. So, he's asking where the movie was at.
Yeah, I answered.
Okay. Okay. Just saw that in the chat.
This, are there any movies in particular from first half of the 80s that you guys want to particularly talk about at length?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. So, you mean like ones that we talked about in the
that they've shown in this
on there
so far? Yeah.
Yeah, I was really happy when they showed Cocoon, because that's a movie I would love for us to watch. I love the aspect that they used all elderly people, and I can't believe that Wilford Brimley was only 50 years old. Is that what they said?
He's looked ancient for years, though.
Yeah, he looked really. I mean, I thought he was at least 70 years old when he was in this movie.
Okay, when he was in The Thing, I thought he was in his mid-60s, but that's not the case. He just looked old. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had
but
a rough
I was
life.
shocked
like,
when they said that.
I don't
They
know
said
if it was the diabetes.
He was 50 years old. I was like, man, he drank and smoked like a train or something, because he did not look healthy at all. No, but he looked old. But wasn't Jessica Tandy and the other actor that she was married to in the movie, they were really married in real life?
I think so.
And I remember the one old guy that didn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to, he was afraid of everything, you know, that one. And his wife was always saying, I want to try it. But then he'd say no. So she would just sit there. And then she died. And he's there trying to get him to let the water heal her. And it's too late. You know, there was nothing he could do. That actor
sticking the mud for too long.
Alien, what was that actor's name? Do you remember?
No.
Oh, I liked him. I've seen him. He was in some TV series. My mom used to watch reruns of it. And I cannot remember the name of it. something about, and he had 2 adopted kids or something. I don't remember, but it was that actor, I think. I can't remember his name.
He was in
Hume Crone.
yeah,
Cronin?
Hume Crone. Yep.
Who else was there?
But he's a good actor too. So I'm just terrible with names. I'm sorry. I can never remember anybody's name unless I have it right in front of me.
You're
But
fine.
that was I love that they talked about that movie and the fact that they had all those people that were older and how it changed the dynamics of seeing Ron Howard's vision. And I think
the
Ron Howard
geriatric potential of movies.
Yeah, but I think Ron Howard's an excellent director.
Just don't ask for the Epstein flight logs.
Yeah, that's one thing, though. I don't know about that, but the thing is that I think he's a good director, and he went from being a child actor to a director, right?
Yeah.
And now his daughter is in movies. I don't know if he has more than one kid or not. I don't know that much about him, but I just thought he was really
Jessica
good.
Chastain or whatever.
His daughter,
I think so.
Yeah.
Bryce
Bryce
Howard.
Dallas Howard.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's his daughter. She's in
I'm good with
Jurassic
faces,
Park
not
or
names.
something, Jurassic World or something like that. But yeah,
I
I
like
was
how they
really
went into detail with what was it? Freaking Return of the Jedi,
Mhm.
and how they were explaining some of the scenes where they had to substitute.
I thought it was interesting how they got Luke, the actor that played Luke, and Laura, or not Laura. What was it? What was her name?
Leah.
Leah. Luke and Leah had contracts for 3 movies. Okay.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But they didn't. But Harrison Ford wouldn't do it for 3. He made him do 1 at a time.
So I mean, he was basically done with Empire Strikes Back. He didn't like really working on this series of films, and when Lucas came at him with money for Return of the Jedi, he's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And then during the middle of filming, Harrison just kind of gets upset. He's like, "Fuck, they're gonna make thousands of toys off this one too. I wish I could actually act
Yeah,
with it."
he kind of wanted to be killed off, I think, in the third one.
Yeah, he wanted to be killed off on Endor, and
Mhm.
he was kind of upset that they kept him alive. And so for the 4th
And they just froze him.
they finally killed him in like The Force Awakens. But
But didn't
Yeah,
he make a shit ton of money off of the movies?
fuck ton of movies.
Okay, so why
Probably
would
not
he
as much as the
make
weed that he was
such a
selling.
gripe about it? I mean,
As a carpenter.
Did he just hate the story or something?
He liked the first movie. I don't think he really enjoyed the second, and I know the third he did not like.
I don't know, because it just seemed he just seemed different when I went in some of the scenes that they showed in this documentary. He just seemed very arrogant. But I guess his character was arrogant. Anyways,
More of a scoundrel.
okay, well,
Scrupulous.
yeah, he was all of that. So I don't know. I just thought it was sad. Oh,
Not as
somebody
sad as the
said,
fifth Indy movie.
saying, my bud Logan, he fell down the stairs in the middle. It says middle of the stairs while making fun of Darth Vader during the filming of The Phantom Menace. Everyone calls him the ghost of the fat.
No idea.
Yeah, I was just trying to read it off my phone, but I see it's on there now.
Yeah, there's some interesting people in your chat.
I was just looking at that laptop.
And one guy's like, I liked it when they said the word neighbor, but I don't think he really meant the word neighbor. I think he meant something else. Neighbor.
Ninja Freeze.
Well, I got a few new subscribers after I had Bear on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thursday, Bear was on talking about his game and stuff.
Sweet.
So
I got all excited thinking that somebody had subscribed to my X. I had 93 new subscriptions. They all turned out to be the usual dregs of society.
Oh, I was gonna say they're not bots. Yeah, see, I go through mine and weed them out. I
Aren't
just
you-
block them and
The bots
unblock them.
thankfully have disappeared. Now it's just the weird smut farmers.
I love smut, but I guess that's just me. Sorry.
Well, there's smut, and then there's the shit that I'm getting, and that's not cool. That's like,
Yeah.
ick. I don't want the hot, painful pee. Go away. If you're gonna show boobs, show boobs. That's cool. Everyone
I
likes-
believe in boobs. I believe in boobs very, very much. For those of you that don't understand, let me show you. If you like nose candy and you want a mysterious child to show up at your door in 12 years, go to Colombia. You'll find out why.
Just mind your P's and Q's.
Yes.
Isn't that where the Colombian necktie came from?
It is.
Okay, see, gotta be careful.
She's having trouble with her horse. He was a nice gentleman and he helped her out. For a small community, they have a lot of good genetics there.
What do you mean
Donna,
small? It looks like a
I miss
pretty
ya.
nice sized town.
Look at that town. I don't see it sprawling for miles. I see them at 3 or 4 fixed locations.
Yeah,
The
but I
town's
see
big.
tall hotels or apartment buildings to the right a little bit.
3-story buildings isn't anything.
Is that a tour? Is that like a touristy area?
I don't think this is really touristy. I think this is kind of like just an area like a regular. I wouldn't go as far as saying like this is West Memphis.
Well, is this like a festival?
This is a weekly thing. They just get together, they parade their horses around, they have their women dress up in hot little outfits. And this is what they do in Colombia. This and traffic cocaine. And then film their women in slow motion so we can see the amazing aesthetics of jiggle physics.
Jiggle physics.
We love jiggle physics.
Yeah.
Like I said, Janet, we get a $6-7 million lottery jackpot. Things will change. Like we'll get you one of them nice little horses there, and you can ride it at a 45-degree angle down the street, and we'll film you in slow motion on the Samsung phone. I'll actually buy a
If we all
Samsung.
get the Mega Millions, we could do the Pablo Escobar thing and just bales of cash in our yards.
Man, we don't have any firewood. I guess got to burn $20,000 here so we can stay warm all night. That's what Pablo did.
Makes me think of Romancing the Stone. He's like, oh, it's getting kind of cold. Let me throw another key on the fire.
This is what we watch in our free time. There you go. A little peek into our private lives. This is why I always throw it on the whenever we have the interlude, whenever we have intermissions in my other streams. This is what we turn it to. Why? Because it's aesthetically pleasing. God bless them.
Well,
So,
they all look like they're
In light
related.
of the technically third assassination attempt of Trump, has PETA endorsed Trump for being pro animal
Pro
life?
saving the cats and dogs and other pets.
What do you
Yeah.
mean this is the third attempt?
Well, technically there was a second shooting attempt, but they got him before he was able to
When?
get the shots off, and then that kind of like disappeared because like nothing happened really, and
Yeah,
they're
but
not
where was
telling
that?
us jack
I'm
shit.
trying to remember or think about when that was.
It was another rally, if I remember correctly.
Oh, that guy that was trying to climb up the scaffolding and stuff.
Possibly. It wasn't anything related to Butler. It was another rally.
Yeah, it was a
all I
different
heard
one.
was like they caught him, and then that was
Yeah,
it.
I saw a
Nobody said
video, and it had a
what.
guy. He was trying to crawl up a wall that was around the press area, and they all jumped on him and dragged him out of the place. But I didn't think that was near Trump. That was like in the the press section.
Yeah.
From that one. So I don't know if that's the same.
It was a technical attempt. It wasn't a.
Yeah, this was indoors. It was an indoor event, the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I might be wrong on being the same one. But
Yeah, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another.
Yeah, Wilford Brimley he bleached his hair and mustache, got it gray.
Oh, to make it look older?
He had wrinkles and liver spots drawn on his face. Kamala Harris, by the way, if you want to have Kamala Harris like try to get a promotion from you, have a liver spot on your penis.
That's gross.
It is.
You can get them on there?
I'm pretty certain a makeup specialist will help if you can't grow.
Choice.
Yeah, but that can get washed off unless you use waterproof makeup.
Oh, God.
We're going to hell.
I would rather risk a lot lizard in a truck stop bathroom.
Oh, that's a terrible thought, though, honestly. It really is.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
Like there's dirty, and then there's politician dirty, and I don't ever want to go there.
I mean, she is sponsored by Big Pharma.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, for sure.
For other reasons than the coof.
Well, remember when she was in California, wasn't she Attorney General of California?
Yeah, she's
okay.
80.
When she was there, I showed a video of 2 young men that had done an expose, and they were trying to expose her and a group that she was working with in the state about selling body parts. I won't say what body parts from who to the pharmaceutical companies. And she had both of them like brought up on charges and stuff in the state of California when she was using her job to do that.
Should I do the ad read from yesterday? Did you guys like the ad read?
I don't remember.
Good. I enjoyed it.
I don't think I saw it.
Oh, you were part of it.
Oh, I was? Okay, well, I missed it then. Are you talking about that? Okay, I thought you were talking about going to the do the memes and stuff. And I was like, I missed that, I guess. Yes, I remember this now. Go ahead.
Well, me and my cord untangled. We're very, very efficient and very, very professional here at Big Dick Energy Gaming. All right, so welcome to all of our friends at San Antonio. We would like to say there are some good news and some bad news for this weekend. We would like to say that in the bad news first, the no-kill shelter, the orphanage of Jean Saint-Wick is closing. But also the good news is that one more food truck fleet has added a 17th food truck to their corporate dynamic, and it is a new food truck, something that many people will have a chance to try something new and tasty. One more food truck fleet is bringing San Antonians a taste of Haiti. And at a taste of Haiti, we are going to be having a fusion of Haitian recipes and spices with traditional American food. And with that, it'll be quite interesting to see how the local populace will enjoy this possibility of a genuine General Tso's chicken, or maybe a Haitian-style hamburger with cheese. Imagine all the food that you can feed your family at rock-bottom prices because of the current expose that we have stumbled into. One more food truck fleet invites you to a taste of Haiti. Thank you so much.
Open that one. That was awesome.
I couldn't help myself. It's like, please save us. We're in the back of the truck. I forgot about that. Yeah. I wish I'd done that yesterday. But oh well. That was funny.
If you can't laugh about it, like the only alternative is to get pissed off or cry. So and if it pisses off the communists, even better. bonus points.
And there,
Ding ding.
an entire side of the interwebs is trying to tell me that this is not happening. There's no video of it. There's nothing going on whatsoever. The other side of the internet is
Oh,
like,
I think I do have one you can share. Let me. I'll be right back. Let me
Well,
go.
if they're not actually eating them, they're actually sacrificing them for their,
yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
either
ritualistic religious practices.
food or ritual for religion. I don't know. It's scary.
Like, it depends on the culture and what they're bringing up. Haitians are known for their poverty and their voodoo.
Voodoo.
Not all of them, but there's a good majority of them. And
Yes,
so
that's-
they've been known to be starving and eat pets to survive. And they've been known to sacrifice animals to Santeria and voodoo and hoodoo and all that. So,
Yeah.
Is it out of the realm of possibility? No.
No.
Is it 100% accurate? Probably not. I'm waiting for the other massive hordes of the Huns, as I'll call them, and see if the local cemeteries get robbed for all the jewelry and gold teeth and whatnot. We've already got instances of geese and whatnot in parks being picked up for whatever reason. So this shitstorm is going to keep on blustering.
I will say that it is, I don't believe it's against the books. If you have waterfowl in most states, waterfowl is not exactly a protected species. Now, states like Illinois that monetize everything, if you want to have turkey, you have to pay us $25 for the turkey tag, and then you have to turn it in with your dead turkey before you can take it home and get it cleaned up, which I just don't understand. Like, oh, this thing's walking across my yard, blam, cook it, and we're good. But that's just...
Yeah, I got family that lives on one side of the road out of town on the outskirts, and you can hunt geese and duck all day long. You go across the street, that's within the county, and then that's no go. So if you're going to be going after the local wildlife, like, look into your laws. Don't just go all Haitian and snag them up.
The Canadian geese
Careful.
versus Haitian migrants, that could become a recurring, like, Friday night fights,
Mhm.
because Canadian geese are fucking mean.
Like, oh, look, it's a trumpeter swan. Oh, that's a big boy.
Yeah.
And he's got attitude.
Sort of boobus. Yeah, I don't understand why. Like, it's not such a hard thing. I just want to have a normal neighbor, and I don't need somebody financing with my money to bring somebody that has no talent, no skills, no outlook on positive aspects of Western civilization, to import them over here where we don't have even trailers set up. And so they're just going to camp outside on mattresses because that's what they're normally doing everywhere else. That's just that's not in my wheelhouse of acceptable government practices. November is coming. I can't wait. And I'd like to see all legal American
The fog
citizens.
is coming. The fog is coming. The fog is coming.
Fog.
Well, I was going to show you a video, but I can't find it. I guess I didn't bookmark it or whatever. It had a person, it was next door, and you could tell they were kind of catty-cornered by the fence, looking over the fence, like standing on something, looking over the fence into the neighbor's backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a dog on a rotisserie. And it
was it a brown dog, like a pit bull?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Okay, that was the one I was going to share with you, but I can't find it. So, because and they said they were I can't believe it, and it's an actual dog. It wasn't a cat, but it was a dog.
There's been some interesting Chuck Schumer AI art.
So, oh, really?
his 4th of July fiasco where he's cooking raw burgers. They've
Oh yeah, I saw
superimposed
that. He's putting
orange
cheese
tabby
on
cat.
it. He's putting cheese on it. It
Mhm.
was raw. That was
It's because he's not human. These lizard
Yeah,
people, they pretend to be
disgusting.
human. So we gain some sympathy, or they gain some sympathy from us, or what have you.
There was a really bad
It's lame.
movie. It had promise. There was a movie, I think it was
Eating
Meet the
Raoul?
Applegates. Was it Meet the Applegates where the aliens move in
Oh,
next
with
door?
the cockroaches,
Yes,
and they could change into humans.
and they have the human
Yeah.
skin suits, and they try to impersonate humans, but the movie just goes nowhere. Like that's a movie I would love to watch and review, but that movie is a one-note film, and we would have a
The practical
13
effects
minute-
were awesome,
yeah, it'd
but
be
it's a
13
weird
minute
movie.
It does not stand up to repeated viewings. It is not a good film to watch, but it is so good for its practical effects because the alien praying mantises that they look like are amazing. User 5 just got booted. I did not do that. Somebody might have, but I didn't.
Oh, don't worry about it.
It wasn't me.
It was me. I did it.
I didn't even notice what he was doing, saying
The
like,
last time we had that happen, it was a little bit of an adventure for me to go log into YouTube, boot, and
But
then
I
come
did
back.
send
So
you a DM in Discord so you can read it. I wanted you to see that because it's kind of interesting. But it's not the same person.
I did see that. The creepy one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
saw
did you read it? What it said? The tag on
Yeah.
the one I sent you in Discord? That's kind of
that-
bizarre.
I wouldn't figure Stewie would be on that, but it's Stewie.
The
really?
name of it
Yeah,
in that photograph,
yeah,
the name under the name,
yeah.
the at name. Okay.
The JS name.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
bizarre.
Not normal.
Mm-mm. So I thought you'd want to see that.
I saw the creepy.
But yeah, I got rid of the other guy because he's on my channel.
No.
He was. I got
What?
rid of him. Not Mo, the other person.
Mo's fine.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Mo. I'm talking about the other one. The creepy one.
Use your 5 for the guy
Yeah.
falling down the stairs repeatedly. Like,
Yeah, that guy.
okay, that's okay. Like, it's really weird that somebody would keep falling downstairs midway. But then we had a president that he fell up the stairs midway, and he fell up the stairs
And
3
down.
times.
And he'd fall on flat ground too.
Yeah, he couldn't even dismount a bicycle normally.
No.
You talk about lizard people. We need to be talking about that. Like, what's going on here? Is this?
Well, he's not around now. But did you see the video of him
It's on
and Harris going into the fire department to see all
No.
the firemen? And
oh yeah, that was hilarious.
Nobody says anything. Yeah, I played it on my show. And then Trump
Was
comes
the-
walking up a little later, and everybody's like, "Yay!" clapping and stuff. So they got no response.
I'm wondering if Biden's going to vote for Trump.
I don't know. Did you see him putting the hat on?
Not
I
by
did.
choice, probably by accident.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was at the fire department that I'm talking about.
I'm not
They
certain
didn't
if that's by accident because Trump.
I
said
think it's
something
like
during the
showing
debate.
us something without saying anything.
Yeah, I really do. I think this is I think that's a quiet part out loud being spoken.
Like 81 million votes. Like, yeah, he may have gotten 81 million votes, but did he get 81 million voters?
No, he didn't. But that's we've already proven that because the court.
We've beaten that horse to dust.
The other thing is that he mentioned, Sir Trump mentioned the fact that Kamala and Biden absolutely hate each other. Like their relationship was only business positive while she was a vice president under an active president. He's no longer an active president. He's still a listed president, but he's not acting. He's at a beach, and if you have the camera pan over to Jill while they're on the beach filming Biden snoring or trying to read People magazine or some other light and fluffy article where maybe a scratch and sniff book of little girls. I don't know, but Jill looks absolutely furious that here is a woman in her maybe 60s and she can't even stop the gig of babysitting. She has to stay there.
I could have been a contender.
Her in life,
Pretty
her
pitiful.
entire life.
Pretty
is-
pitiful.
Yeah, she's going to not age very well. I could see her like retiring to a box of wine into a room and like you hear a gunshot later. Oh my God! Somebody shot. Oh wait, no, Jill shot herself. Never mind. And that'll be it because Jill just looks like absolutely furious that her life has had this turn. You know, I mean, she was doing well. She congratulated her husband on the big boy speech he did, and then the next week, you know, they pull him in the room, and Barack and everybody tells him, "Well, we have to get rid of your husband. You've done really good, but we'll take it from here." But no, we were going to take another 4 years in the White House. Nope, you're out. What? And I can hear Barack Obama. Oh no, we're going to go a different direction. Your position has been compromised by your husband's inability to keep his shit within his butt, and he involuntarily just spits it out of his butthole. So we're going to send him on down the road. And I can see that conversation. Maybe not in such nice polite terms, but goodbye. And that's where we're at with Jill and Joe.
It's not unlike Hillary back in 2016, except less vocal.
Side of beef. You remember when Hillary was winched onto into a van?
She looked like she passed out. She was unconscious. It looked like.
Side of
was
beef.
that before or after Trump put the ban on adrenochrome?
I don't remember.
Strange.
She was in bad shape, so I don't know.
Yeah, she's out there still trying to politic and say like I could still run, I can still go do things. She's
the Vecna of politics, damn it.
She really is. Her husband looks like a lich now. I feel sorry for Bill.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Bill. He looks like he's just trying to get to one more golf tournament, and his wife is interrupting his schedule by forcing him to do one more PR visit. Like, do you remember the 90s? Do you remember enjoying yourself and having money, for your enjoyment? You know, this is me and Bill. We used to run the place in the 90s, and we used to make everybody money. Remember that, guys?
Yeah. People used to make money.
So I got to say that this movie is a good time capsule going back in time to about the golden age of sci-fi. Does it highlight the best movies of the genre for the time period? It does an absolutely devastating roundup of films that it covers within the year specified.
Yeah, I think so far it's done a really good job at picking certain movies so that they can pick certain things out of it. You know what I mean?
And it's done by year, so that's really good because
I like that too.
If you want to look for a specific movie, like the best thing that you can do is like at least find out the year that it was made, because we got a lot of overlap with movies now where they have the same titles but they're different years.
When Bruce said that those 3 movies all came out at the same weekend, I was surprised because that's competition.
Yeah, I used to think 1994 was the apex of movies for USA releases, and I'm not saying that's a bad year or that's fallen by the wayside. 94 is still probably my top 3 years for movies because you've got things like The Professional, Pulp Fiction, a bunch of other really good films came out in that time frame. But then you have other movies from like 89 where you had Batman, The Abyss, Raiders of the Lost, no, not Raiders, the Temple or The Last Crusade. And then you had a whole bunch of other really good movies come out, like Blown Away, that we haven't talked about. That's Tommy Lee Jones and Jeff Bridges. Fantastic.
That's a great movie.
Fucking great fucking movie. But you've got 84 and 83 and 82, which consecutively, if you were a movie going consumer back in those days, you could just live within those 3 years of media for movies and you would be content because you had so many good films coming out. The production houses, MGM, Universal, 20th Century Fox, they were doing such a good job of keeping their actors happy and keeping directors on schedule.
Mm-hmm.
The major hiccup in those 3 years, and it didn't really slow down movies per se, but it did put a kibosh on the future of John Landis for a while because of the accident that he is responsible for with the Twilight Zone movie. But as a guy that works in heavy equipment, every time we start to move anything in heavy equipment, we always have a JSA, a job safety analysis. Everybody has to gather around. You have to sign paperwork. You have to agree that if something's going to be dangerous and you've got a situation that you just don't feel right, or you see something, say something, it's unsafe, all fucking work stops. And so John Landis is not the only person that is responsible for the death of Vic Morrow and the 2 young girls that were killed in the helicopter crash. John Landis is party to it, but so is everybody else that was on set that night. And I understand that Landis wanted to film the scene at night. I completely understand that. But they could have stepped back and taken 2 weeks to analyze and try to get better ideas of how to get the filming done safely, or use my favorite thing in the world, which is fucking miniatures, and just save 3 people's lives and thousands of dollars of equipment. But that was the only real tragedy I could think of from those 3 years. I mean, there's other tragedies too. There might be even worse tragedies, but I'm a big fan of John Landis before and after that, because as much as he's a problem in certain communities, he is a good director, and his efforts, his movies, I've watched his movies hundreds of times. And that's one of the few directors I can say that about. Spielberg, I haven't even crested that with. I don't think I've seen a Spielberg movie more than 5 times. Even Raiders of the Lost Ark, I think I've seen it only, maybe 10 times for Raiders, 7 times for Temple of Doom, but probably 10 times for Last Crusade. And then probably the closest to Landis's movies, because every time me and my dad get together, Blues Brothers. We have to watch the Blues Brothers together. I don't know why, but that's just
we watched the shit out of that. That was my brother's favorite movie. He was a big fan of the Blues Brothers.
And then Animal House. When me and other friends get together, fucking Animal House comes on. So while people are very critical of John Landis, he's not the only one that was there on the set that night. Other people were there. Other people could have stood up and said, "Hey, we got to stop. Let's stop this. Let's redo this because it just doesn't feel right. The wind comes from the wrong direction, or the helicopter's not working right. Let's stop and let's not get hurt." So, if you guys have a thought on this, or if you have a chat, if you feel I'm wrong, you're free to disagree with me. It's just that I'm probably not going to change my opinion on this because of my work experience. And Sort of Poopus is more than likely right. Spielberg might have been that. Wasn't Spielberg part of that Twilight Zone movie?
I want to say yes.
Yeah, it could have been. He could have been a distraction too. Sad thing, Vic Morrow, rest in peace, friend. Not really a friend of mine, but I admired your work. This movie we stopped at 1985 because I didn't want to go further than that. The part about it that I found myself, there was 2 parts where I started crying while watching this today. One was when Gertie explodes into tears because E.T.'s getting resuscitated and it doesn't look like he's going to make it. They're putting the paddles to him. And then the other part being that the space shuttle disaster during the 80s, Janet, Josh, you guys remember
I
Tang.
remember it vividly.
You remember the
Tang
commercial for
in
Tang?
particular? Yes,
To
Yeah,
remember the
I
what?
drank that. I still drink that.
Oh,
Tang.
Tang. Yeah,
Tang.
I
Like
think everybody drank Tang.
I think we all did, and I mean, I'm one of the few people that will still drink it today without hesitation.
I haven't
though-
seen it in stores.
You can get it online, definitely, but some of the, like if you got a Winco or something, the equivalent thereof, with like large capacity, family size, I guess is what they call it now. You can find it in your local supermarkets like that.
They come in like a 16 ounce or 12
Canister.
ounce little plastic container, yeah, and you can get
Yeah.
that. It used to be $2 before Biden. Before Biden, I was paying $2 for 16 ounces of Tang powder, and now I'm paying in excess of $5.
And it has real vitamin
Well, I
C in
just
everything
recently
too,
looked
right?
up Country Time lemonade
Mhm.
because I forgot what I was doing online, but it made me think of lemonade. Oh yeah, that's right. It was the Pink Panther, which led me to a childhood book of the Pink Panther buying a haunted house, and there was a ghost there, and he was drinking pink lemonade and got it on the ghost, and then had to wash the sheet of the ghost, and it shrunk, and he basically became the size of a ghost to a size of a handy rag. And anyways, that's not what I'm trying to get at. Anyways, I was thinking of Country Time lemonade throughout that whole convoluted 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon memberberry shit that I was doing.
Yeah.
And so I looked it up online, and for one of those big 48 serving canisters of Country Time or Tang for that matter, it was like $34.
No, you got to get yourself a Costco membership, brother.
Well,
I
I got a Costco membership, but I was thinking, like, okay, so for the average slob that doesn't pay attention to deals, like if you were to go into a store and pay $32 for a canister of that shit, there
Mhm.
better be some crack cocaine in there or something.
Okay, here's the big one, the big Country Time drink mix, 82.5 ounces at Costco right now. 15th of September is $10.99.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah, that's
This
very fun.
Bidenomics, 3-4 times the cost. Bullshit.
I'm not a fan of the current shit going on, but the Tang, I went into Tang because when I was a kid growing up, when we were kids growing up, we were told that you drink your Tang and get your vitamin C, and that the astronauts drink Tang, so you should drink Tang too, because don't you want to be an astronaut? And so we drank Tang. And then in 1979, they had the Enterprise debut as the premier, the flag bearer of the new NASA space fleet. And Walter Koenig and other people in Star Trek were really impressed that they'd chosen to name it the Enterprise. And that was their pride. Like, we are part of the future. We are being honored for a really campy show we did in the 60s. And our legacy will not only be this bad show, which is loved by millions, but also the fact that it's inspired other younger people to follow their hearts to the stars. And then in 85, I remember I was at school right after lunch, and they started telling us that the space shuttle had exploded, and then here comes the principal, and some of us get taken into the gymnasium as they wheel out televisions so we can watch TV live. And that was pretty much the rest of our school day. We're watching the space shuttle go explodey, and all of the dreams of those poor kids in the Northeast that lost their teacher
Mhm.
kind of went up in smoke with it. And I found myself bawling there because I'm like, oh, this is a fucking core memory. This is terrible,
Yeah.
And I felt really like, am I less of a man for bawling whenever I remember seeing this? Because like that was traumatizing. you know. And I remember.
If I can interject for a second.
Yeah.
Travis, E.T. made it. He just got all dried up and white crusty like an old dog turd. It was a little touch and go, but he made it.
Oh yeah, he did.
I don't know if Travis has ever seen that movie or not. I would recommend him to probably, if you have children, E.T. is a good film. Does it survive the 2024 test? The original version does. The 20th anniversary, just don't buy it. Don't reward anybody for their editing skills because they decided that the guns were not necessary in that movie and they replaced all the guns CGI with walkie-talkies. And there's
Han
no
shot first. Fuck
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah. There's no need for you to have that sort of misery in your library for your video media. Get the original version or pirate it, yarg matey, and you'll be happier. The movie still holds up today. It's very different because in perspective there was two classic science fiction movies released the same weekend and they were panned. Like, not a lot of people saw Blade Runner. Not as many people saw The Thing. And nowadays, you can't talk to a sci-fi movie nerd without getting their opinion of which Blade Runner version do you like, or what's your favorite special effect from The Thing, and then you're in a 40-minute conversation as you both basically mentally masturbate and talk about The Thing. Rob Bottin, and then all the practical effects that they do with the movie magic in Blade Runner. It's just amazing how those two films come out smelling like a rose 40 years later, and E.T. is kind of like pushed to the side, like the orphan kid, the red-haired orphan. Like we don't want you,
An afterthought compared to everything else.
It is, and
which is kind of sad because it was a decent film.
It really is a good movie. Is C. Thomas Howell? Yeah, C. Thomas Howell's in that.
He was one of the older kids.
Yeah. Which one are you talking about? E.T.?
E.T.
I don't remember E.T. Yeah, he's one of the older brother's friends.
Yeah.
That's right. Riding the bicycle. Taking E.T. to call phone home on Halloween.
It's such a different movie.
Great advertisement for Speak and Spell too.
Oh yeah, I mean all of it, the stuff that he used.
How many people bought a Speak and Spell? How many people got that after 1982?
Seriously.
It was in the latter half of its lifespan because it was an electronic toy, and there were of the 70s. Like there were certain electronic toys that in your extended family, I expect you to have. Like somebody in your family has to have a Mattel football game, the handheld football game, the blinking red dot versus the other blinking red dots, not pixels.
Yep.
And one of those label maker
little
things.
LEDs.
Yeah.
My aunt had one of those. You type stuff in and you peel and stick it on your Tupperware and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Pretty soon we're going to be talking about bristle blocks and cooties and fucking Teddy Ruxpin. I was so upset with Teddy Ruxpin.
That was
because it only worked with certain tapes that would play regular music tapes. It had to be specifically coded to work. I was putting in all my Metallica music and couldn't get it to work.
I want to see his mouth do this. Just jabbered like 13 times speed with Metallica. Yeah. No, it didn't work.
Like those Furbies. My God. Later on in life.
The Furby.
Those came out on the sea.
And Teddy Ruxpin. Yeah. Wasn't that teddy bear that you put cassettes in?
Oh, and then there was the My Buddy doll, which, I was too old to have a My Buddy. And I had a little brother, so it was kind of pointless for me. I wasn't an only child anymore. But my brother had My Buddy.
The one that taught you how to button your buttons and zippers and stuff?
No, it was just a big doll. It was supposed to ride the wave of the Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yes.
And they had the stupid song. And it was like, hey, you're a lonely kid out in the middle of freaking wherever, and here's your best friend. You get on your big wheel with your best friend, and the commercials were really awesome, really sold it. But my brother got one, and then the next year, freaking Child's Play came out, and he got traumatized, and then I traumatized him further.
That's terrible.
Because he had tied up his doll and threw it in the toy box, and I put it out there like he escaped.
I love.
I think I've told this story before, but yeah.
What was that movie
the
called?
The 80s was a wonderful time. What, Child's Play?
The Chucky movie. What was the Chucky movie called?
It was Child's Play. Yeah.
Okay.
Brad Dourif.
Mm-hmm.
Dewey Dumbledore, and he gets voodoo soul trapped into a doll as he's dying, because he learned the voodoo spell to transfer his essence and basically stay alive until he can steal a youthful boy's body to re-inhabit it. Would have made an excellent D&D Ravenloft adventure,
mm-hmm.
RPG adventure in general.
I really like taking it back to sci-fi just for a moment. The 85 year was our cutoff point. The other film they had that I was really surprised that I want to see it again is Back to the Future.
Yeah, that was one of the ones I said when we were watching it we need to watch that again too.
Yeah, we need to watch that.
I remember thinking that 2015 was
I just
far
got
off.
to see Christopher Lloyd 4.5 months ago when I went to that con. And he signed my
Christopher Lloyd's awesome.
Yeah, he signed my Federation manual.
He was in the recent movie called Nobody. And
he was so good in that movie.
I was very surprised at how good he was in that movie.
He was believable. He was a believable character for that too.
Mm-hmm.
If you've not seen
what was
Nobody,
that? Was it Tales from the Dark Side? He was in an episode of one of the anthology horror films. I don't remember if it was Tales from the Dark Side or what was that other one?
Creepshow?
They were almost back and back.
Creepshow?
But he played a teacher. Was it Creepshow? No, I think it was Tales from the Dark Side, now that I think about it, because it wasn't as campy as Creepshow.
Mm-hmm.
He played a teacher, and the guy, in the classroom, the kid, the heavy metal kid, was so sick of him because he was a ball buster. And so, if I remember correctly, he was playing his record backwards, and it was telling him how to put a hex on his teacher, and then he was supposed to put the picture in the magic circle or what have you with the candles and all the shit. And then he accidentally rips it, and it happens to rip at his neckline. And then the next day his teacher's alive and not dead, and he's kind of happy because he was having nightmares that he murdered his teacher, and then his teacher has his gnarly stitched head attached to his neck, like his head had been ripped off.
Sounds horrible.
And then it ended like that. I was like, wow. And I remember as a kid watching that and going that's the dude from frickin' Taxi, and now he's the scary zombie teacher. But Christopher Lloyd's an awesome actor.
Well, I just had something that popped up on my timeline. It says, breaking, Eric Prince, founder of the private security firm Blackwater, calls on Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to immediately assume control of the investigation into the second Trump assassination attempt. He adds, the feds have dropped the ball thoroughly on Butler, PA. Time for Florida to save the day.
Eric Prince gets a lot of shit because Blackwater, when they went and ended up killing all those innocents, that was when the money kind of dried up. They weren't getting the funding that they were. And so instead of getting the quality mercs, you got the shitty mercs.
Mm-hmm.
The guy himself seems to be pretty solid.
Yeah, he
From what
doesn't seem to
I've
be a
read.
bad guy. He just doesn't really have a tight enough rein on his company.
Yeah.
That's my only real critique of him. He just, seems like a good guy, but he trusted people too easily, and now his name is going to get besmirched by having less than high quality standards in his name brand.
Yeah.
For those of you wondering, these figurines I'm painting right now, I'm hoping to get done within the next 2 weeks, for obvious reasons, because I love watching my players twitch and shake. Like
That looks like a giant razorback with arms.
they're called.
That's another 80s movie that is awesome.
What,
Razorback?
Razorback?
Razorback, yes.
Is it scary? I don't think I've seen it. Is it about the
It's about a
razorback?
wild boar in Australia that does
Oh.
insanely impossible things to buildings and people.
I've never seen it, but that's what that looks like.
Imagine the Terminator and a feral hog. That's Razorback.
I may need to have a special twofer, or like back-to-back weekends for Razorback and Black Sheep. Black Sheep.
Oh, that would be epic. I love that movie.
That's a movie too.
Black Sheep is a Weta Workshop. It's an underrated classic because in New Zealand they're experimenting on these sheep, and eventually, basically, like they make a sheep squatch out of it, and it's Weta Workshop just going nuts with like an eighth of the money they made off the Two Towers.
Mm-hmm.
And it sadly it shares the title Black Sheep with a David Spade movie. So whenever I talk about Black Sheep, people are like, "Oh, I love David Spade." I'm like, "No, the sheep horror film. You've never seen it? No idea what you're talking about." Okay, never mind.
Genetically engineered sheep that
Yeah,
become meat eaters. And if you have any inkling of like the sheep population in New Zealand, that would be damn frightening.
that is a horrible thought because the sheep in New Zealand are amazingly populous. They have nothing better to do but make more sheep and get sheared.
Which is great if you're like in the wool industry, but if you're doing some Resident Evil engineering, you're fucked.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they do. I'm going to bring Crafting Gamer on.
Okay.
Yes, please BS with us.
Yeah. I'll need to get him.
We all love it.
I'll need to get Crafting a link over to this movie so he can see this, because
like I would love to have these streams, but we have like a big circular table.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a shit ton of people around it, and you know the chips and beer and whatnot, your beverage and snack of choice, and maybe one of them fancy neon signs with like a proper logo or something. That would be cool.
Yeah, I'm real excited about watching the other half of it from the rest of it, because I can't remember all the. I was surprised every time they went back, and I said this already about the wall of movies, how many movies were on there, and I go, oh, are they zooming in on that one? And it would be the one next to it or whatever. And there was a lot of movies on there that looked damn good that I remember watching, and then others that I never watched.
It is what it is, Snortopoopas. It is what it is.
Did you see my shirt that I've ordered? It'll arrive Tuesday.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was really good. I bought one. didn't think about wearing it today, so I'll probably wear it for the shit show about the hillbilly and the felon.
We live in the best of times. We live in the worst of times. The worst of times, we got the shit show. At the best of times, we got things being produced at the speed of meme. And it's amazing.
It's a mixture,
Something
just like what we've been talking about.
15 seconds later, there's hundreds of memes about it.
And the funny thing is that now Donald Trump has been in combat more than 10 walls. 20 years of military service.
Oh, you need to make a meme for that.
Thank you for your service.
I need to get a blue cord and just add that to Trump and his requisite suit and tie, and give him the blue cord and maybe.
You know what I would do if I were you, Bruce?
What's that? Learn how to.
I would start just make another X, okay, and just say memes are us, and do nothing but post memes that you get in your Discord and put them on X. That's it. And then go and enjoy yourself reading all the comments you're going to get from them. Hey, welcome. I think it'd be good. It'd be therapeutic for you because you get to post some great memes. Because I've never seen anybody kicked off for a meme.
I've seen people arrested.
Well, not on X. I haven't seen
But
anybody.
that's only if you're in a Commonwealth country. Coming to a city near you in the Soviet States of America.
Hey, Bruce.
But I think it'd be good. I think he got up to do something.
Oh.
I don't see him.
I found two excellent.
There he is.
I found an excellent slime and blood effect paint in the Fanatics paints. The slime dries slightly clear, so if you give it any color in the background, you can adjust its color or make it super bright. And the blood, when it dries, it's nice and shiny like it's fresh.
That's cool and all, but considering the current state of the campaign, where we're at, that would be kind of
blood
gross.
And slime would be bad. Yeah. Oh, Janet.
Mm-hmm.
Quick recap. I mean, I know we'll have to recap on next Saturday, but quick recap. While you were gone, we ended up finding trying to deal with a sex cult, a Fae sex cult in this case, and now we have encountered a half troll, half Etten, and according to Bruce, according to Bruce, when I made my roll about what it is, my character thinks now would be a good time to run.
Uh-oh. So we're in deep doo-doo.
Yep.
That's what you're telling me?
Yep.
Oh, great.
We're up to our neck and KY and creepy Fae.
Didn't we encounter Faes yesterday? Horny ones?
Red caps.
That were, aren't they Fae?
They are. Yeah, but they weren't horny. They were Fae,
well, the
but they
ones
weren't
down
horny.
in the river were the ones who took the
Yes.
bridge out. Those are the two I'm talking about.
Yeah, and they were horny Fae.
Okay, that's what I said.
Dryads?
I don't remember.
No,
Bruce said that they were
I forgot what Bruce said, but they were probably the type that were maybe not suck your essence out, but definitely kill you afterwards.
Yeah. Well, I was a girl, so I didn't have to worry about it. It was the guys in our group.
Psychotic girlfriend material. Awesome.
So, it was dangerous.
So this series of events that we're in the campaign,
Mm-hmm.
are they going to get worse?
Of course.
Like,
look what he's painting.
Like,
He just said he's trying to get them done.
The threat level is going to get higher, but like the depravity and the creepiness, like.
Well,
hello, Snortopupus.
Is that have anything to do with Bruce?
Yeah. Well, at this point, I'm
not
very
complaining.
tempted on.
I'm just wondering.
Well, admittedly, early on we were like, well, maybe we should just set this building on fire. I personally was like, well, maybe we don't want to risk killing innocent people because some people, not knowing that they're in a Fae sex cult, just came here for sex.
Yeah.
At this point, I've seen enough, especially with the giant creature that we're gonna face.
I can save her.
I'm thinking, set the building on fire while we run away.
Or we could run out and you could throw one of your magic missiles.
Well,
And
it'd be
set
burning
them.
hands, but I get what you're saying.
Oh, burning hand. You know, yeah, whatever it is that you.
A stream of fire.
I don't think I have anything. I
Burn
can
the
throw.
building, salt the earth, and go back to the farm and drink your pain away.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
that because at this point we've already made ourselves enemies of these people. So if we leave, we're going to get attacked. If we burn the building, we're going to get attacked. So either way, I say we just burn the building at this point.
Mm-hmm. Smart. I agree. But Bruce did say that he's painting that one and the dragon to try to get him done so he could kill us with them. Basically. He didn't say the kill word, but I know that's what he's thinking about.
Which
And
group
see,
gets to experience those things
not
first?
saying anything,
Well-
so I mean, I think he agrees.
Well, at our current level, the dragon will be more of a role-playing counter
Mhm.
because there's no way we could fight one. Even a hatchling dragon would rip us apart at our level. I don't know about the things he's currently painting. They might not be as bad as
I
they
wanted
look.
to ask
We
a
don't know.
question about that. Do dragon eggs have to be sat on to keep warm, or like a bird, or not?
I don't know if the book goes into depth with that.
Probably depends on the species.
Yeah, like I would suspect, black dragons need to be hatched in dark, gloomy places, preferably with maybe acid or acidic materials around. Fire dragons are best in fiery nests. Maybe copper dragons
Because
like
in Game of
being in
Thrones,
copper
remember
mines.
in Game of Thrones when she put those eggs that she got in the fire, that's when they
Yeah.
started to hatch
Well,
out.
that is that when dragons have no magic trope, they're just dragons. That's the most common way of hatching them because dragons are fire creatures.
Because they said they were really old
tropes. Oh, yeah.
eggs. So,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Well,
I that's the only thing I had to go on. But I was thinking about
Yeah.
that.
well,
back
each story that
months
has
ago,
dragons will have
about
dragon
that.
eggs hatched differently.
Mhm.
Like Palladium, I don't think they ever talk about how dragon eggs are hatched. But other than the fact that the dragons know that their young will be independent because they also have genetic memories to a degree. So when a dragon hatchling is born, it's independent. The parent had pooped an egg, flew away.
Mhm.
I was thinking more like balut. Have it a rare
Baloo the bear?
delicacy. No. The
Cooking it in
Filipino
the
dish.
shell and then sucking it out.
Well, they do eat dragon eggs in Atlantis.
Yeah, but isn't a balut raw? Or
It's
they
a partially
bury-
formed.
Yeah, and they put it underground and bury it for like so many weeks. So it's kind of like, slimy and stuff. And then they bust the hole in it and suck it out because they were eating those in the Philippines.
Oh yeah, they do weird
Or
things in the
balloon.
Philippines.
Yeah, it's kind of gross. So
I do not eat
I'd
slimy.
rather cook mine. You don't mind.
I do not do slimy at all.
Oof, I was
I
thinking about
remember
making
eating sushi,
throw up.
like actual sashimi, not just
Mhm.
like tempura. And there was a dish that they had made with quail egg, and my housemate was about 5 shades of green,
Mhm. Ugh.
and
You didn't eat one,
I
did you?
slurped it down. I
Oh,
slurped
you
it down.
did?
It was like, okay, well, I used to eat raw egg and orange juice back when I was young and immortal and fit. So like raw egg doesn't bother me. But the texture of things, I can see that being kind of weird because like you're like, okay, it's got a funky flavor to it. Oh, now it's got chewy bits. Now it's got semi crunchy bits. Like, oof.
Yeah, when
I prefer
when I was little,
my
I remember
chicks cooked.
taking egg whites and separating the yolks out, back and forth with the shell, and then taking the egg whites, and we would take our mixer and mix up the egg whites and then add sugar to it. And then we used that because we didn't have whipped cream. So that's what we used as whipped cream. And it was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, the whites don't need to be cooked, unlike what a lot of people think. It's the yolk that has the potential. And
Yeah.
it's not a guarantee they actually can make you sick either.
but I remember doing that. It was pretty good.
I've had that before. My grandmother did stuff. My great grandmother was very old fashioned. My grandmother was very old fashioned. We've been meeting around here to actually see about doing canning. We actually know
Yeah,
how
I tried to get
can around here
my
for
family
once.
involved in that, and nobody wants to do that, and it's sad.
Oh, we love doing it up here.
And the
We
jars
love
are expensive.
Doing our own canning. Oh, well, here's the thing. Thanks to my great grandmother and my grandmother, we could probably can enough to feed everybody for a year because we have that many jars.
Awesome. Don't give out your address.
So it's just a matter of getting the supply. In fact, we have jars that have things in it we're not entirely sure are edible anymore. I mean, the cans are still sealed, but we're talking about what's in them. Like there are some that obviously have like sardines or something like that in it. We have not touched those cans.
Well, as long as
ever.
the temperature hasn't fluctuated, technically,
No,
it'd still be.
They're kept in a room that's the temperatures that does not fluctuate very much. It's purposely designed that way. My great grandfather, oh God, I wish I had his gumption and motivation. That man started at least, and maybe more, at least 3 businesses, and then sold them to start another business. There is a restaurant, a cement company, and I forgot what the third one is. I know it might be the mechanic shop that's down there too. That I did not get my great grandfather's motivation and gumption, but I got his proclivity to jump projects. I work with wood, I work with metal, I work with cardboard, I paint miniatures, I make prop weapons. Let's see here. I know how
That's
and
always
have
fun.
made candles. I know how and have made candles before, and actually make money off people love it. Candles. Reverse. Now, here's the thing. Reverse wokeness in this. As soon as people hear the candle was made by a man, they buy it instantly. Oh, men don't make candles. That's awesome. Snag. I made easy over $200 off of candles because I was a man making them. Like about every third person would say, "Oh, your man made them. Awesome, yank." That was like, so weird.
Being an American with like Western paraphernalia in Japan, they buy that shit up.
I don't doubt it.
So did you watch it, Crafting Gamer? Have you watched the documentary yet?
No, I didn't know what it was. If I had known what it was, I would have showed up for it. Bruce, your link showed up as unknown. I'm not allowed to access. I presume that's the movie.
Well, Bruce,
that I might actually, probably will sit down and watch at some point.
Yeah, he when he sent it to me or was telling me what we were going to watch, I looked it up and watched the trailer. And then when I watched the trailer, I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to see this! It looks so good."
Yeah, I remember the trailer from like 2 years ago.
Yeah, so many stars, and famous.
If you're not,
we're going to be interviewed in
like savvy on 70s and 80s movies, like this is a great way to start off with like a plethora of films that will get you into all the stuff that we here love and do every week.
Yeah.
Like I was literally looking at all the box titles that they had because they had the VHS cases.
Yeah.
Intermittently in the film, and I was like, okay, I've seen that. I got to see that. It was epic.
Yeah, I thought it was really well done. Except, some of the lame comments that some of the people being interviewed had, that were woke people.
Hey, Bruce.
But besides that, it was really good.
It's the 20s. Like if it was something from the 80s or the 90s up until like 95, we wouldn't have any of that. Mm-hmm. It would just be purely analytical of 70s and 80s cinema.
Hey, Bruce, I got a question. Have Have you seen the Dungeons and Lasers pre-painted cave sets yet? If you're talking, Bruce, I can't hear you.
Oh,
Technical issues.
I saw his hand, so
Yeah, he's messing with his mic, but I still can't hear anything.
All right. So
Okay.
apparently,
There we go.
If I have to have sound, I have to have this camera on. Extra camera cannot be there because apparently extra camera control when the primary camera controls my microphone.
mhm.
If you
That's
use
interesting.
StreamYard, you just a helpful hint for you. Dungeons and Lasers. Terrain.
Yeah, you still might be able to see it on Kickstarter. Well, you can still see it on Kickstarter. They haven't finished it yet.
I think you need to upgrade from HAL 2000 to HAL 3000.
Oh, the reason why I
now
asked, 'cause
that was interesting. Oh, sorry.
it's a little bit lower. They keep
But
them separate so they're easier to find, since a lot of
That was
Americans buy,
interesting,
apparently.
though, when they were talking about the 2001 Space Odyssey. And then the
Oh,
next
yeah.
one was what, 2010?
You'll get a
Yeah.
better view of the
I hadn't
pre-painted
seen
terrain
that
if
one,
you go
so I'm
to
definitely going to
the
want to watch that, if you don't mind.
dungeon here.
Both of them
I
would be
see
good.
here. Is this the Dungeons and Lasers Kickstarter or is it something else?
Bruce.
Say again, Janet.
I wouldn't mind putting 2001 and 2010 on too for a double feature,
That might have to happen.
because those looked, I hadn't seen the second one.
Oh, sweet.
The one with
Is that like a tower house?
It says,
Sorcerer's Spire. Wow, that's really pretty. Is that for your dice?
no, that's for miniatures.
Wow, that's really pretty. Wow, there's a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it like Lego bricks?
Table that you showed us, that you opened up the
Yeah,
lid
there's,
and had all the stuff inside you could move around. Wow, that was freaking cool. If I was rich,
Yeah,
I'd buy
I'm
that.
looking for a link to show off the cave one. There's a very particular reason for that. Oop, crap.
The greasy spoon
All
tab.
right, I want to show them off to Bruce because I backed the Kickstarter for their cave collection, so I could actually get the miniatures from the previous Kickstarter. 300 some miniatures.
Holy crap.
Really?
I actually have little interest in the cave stuff.
Okay.
See if I can see here. Come on, there we go. I might be able to get to the link now so I can show it to you. I'm wondering if you'd be interested in it, Bruce.
Might
For
be.
me, it would literally just sit and collect dust. Let's see here. Got so many. That was a while ago.
So your reenactment of
Come on.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
I like this. I really do.
Strong.
Oh, yeah, those are absolutely amazing. I've been looking at those, but I don't as much as like I said with the caves. They're just going to sit around and collect dust. If I get one of those, it'll just sit around and collect dust.
How big is it?
I do mostly
looks like
theater of the mind.
It's going to be like 16 inches at its largest, Janet.
And you have to paint the whole thing yourself?
It's already pre-painted.
Wow, it's really pretty.
Yeah,
And
Oh,
that's
those
for
I
your
didn't know those came
portraits?
pre-painted.
those are pre-painted. It looks like.
Yeah.
Prices are decent.
Yeah, definitely going to have to.
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
that's the best part about Dungeons and
what
Lasers.
was it,
Usually prices their miniatures at about a piece.
Well, that table that
They are great.
I don't know who shared it. That one
Reaper
that you
miniatures
opened
is
the
great for
top.
individual miniatures.
Remember that one?
Reaper.
Yeah,
is
if you were
great-
going for like
yeah.
a hero figure or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're great for that. But if you let's see here, if you want mass miniatures, I mean, let's see here.
Kickstarter.
Games Workshop does do good miniatures, but however, Dungeons and Lasers is cheaper while still being of equal, if not actually better quality. Their miniatures are generally priced at about $1 a piece for the small ones. The big ones are usually between 30 and 60, but that when they get expensive, that's because they're popular.
Are you talking about the plastic tabletop scenery, which is almost getting ready to expire? Or no, the late pledge is almost done.
Yeah. Here we go. Okay, this is the link I was looking for. This has all. It says the terrain I'm talking about. Oh, okay, crap. I have to scroll down quite a bit to see it, but let's see here. I'll put this in the private chat as long as it fits. It should, though. It's not that big.
I'm surprised with
The Kickstarter is
the-
completely over, but like I said, I backed it for the miniatures. Sorry.
the prevalence of 3D printing
Yeah, well,
and exchange of
yeah.
all these cool minis and whatnot. Like, why hasn't somebody done the teddy bears versus unicorns?
See that?
if you look hard enough, I'm pretty sure you can find that game somewhere. Kickstarter is full of all kinds of weird games.
They definitely are.
Yeah, I backed for. Let's see here. Oh, let's see. I got to double check. What did I back for?
Like, if I had a 3D printer, I would be doing like the Smurf Village, freaking Gummy Bear Forest, and having those two duke it out. Make it into a tabletop war game or something.
The core was like the caves themselves. I got three themes to go with the main cave.
Bruce, you can make Candy Mountain.
I know, right? Who wouldn't want to play in Candy Mountain?
The only two I remember I added for sure was the spiders and the dwarven mines. See if I can find the third one that I. So,
That reminds me, I got a bunch of
and I was actually thinking of you when I
suggestions
did
in
this.
YouTube. For...
No, sorry, I was finished.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I actually was thinking of you, Bruce, when I pledged for the cave stuff. It's like, this would be great for Bruce. This would be great for Bruce. I partially don't have the room,
Don't buy
and
it
as it
from
sits
me.
right now, I will not have the space to put it up. And when I use miniatures, it's mostly like you do right now.
So you paint them and then you put them on display for tabletop games. Okay.
Yep.
They put them on camera. Here's where you're at. Here's what you're doing. I'm looking at this. This is really a neat setup. I like what I'm seeing with these guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot
And I
here.
can't find what the third one was. I know I didn't do for goblins. I don't think I might have done for goblins, actually. I can't remember what the third one was. I just remember I did the dwarven mines and the spider caves themes.
Janet, do you know what Candy Mountain is?
No.
Have you been to Candy Mountain?
Mm-mm. Where is it?
Oh, it's a special place.
Magical place.
Yeah.
I know, but where is it? Is it in
Isn't it a
Texas?
drug reference of some kind?
I don't know if it's a drug reference, but there is
In some circles, probably.
there's
There's an old animation.
I was going to say, do they sell like gummy bears and stuff like that?
No, I believe it's from Film Cow. I'll see if I can get a hold of this, and yeah, here it is. let me just send you this link, or we'll watch it after we shut down because it's 7 now.
Is it a like a short or something?
It's a short 3-minute cartoon.
Okay.
Oh, Bruce,
Sir,
do you mind getting a small copyright strike?
for what?
I do.
Oh,
Remember the video?
If you're going to
Remember
play
the little
something, let me
video
know,
I
and I'll
sent you
It's
turn off
only
my
a small, Serpina.
I'll
Remember
turn
that
off
little
my
video
YouTube.
I sent you about a week or two ago from Jackasses?
Oh, yeah, I remember you talking
See,
about that.
that is actually what I was thinking. I sent that to you. I forgot to put the words with it. But that is our situation for what happened at the.
Well, Jeremy, you need to
brothel.
come to
I
Bruce's
wanted to show
channel
that
if you
to
want to
Janet
watch it.
as a real.
Because
sorry.
I have a strike right now. It doesn't go away until
I'm not going
until
to get a copyright strike on that, but I know exactly what you're talking about there, crafting.
Okay. We'll show it to
It's-
Janet after the show then, because
Yeah.
that is a perfect explanation of what has happened.
Yes.
That
Yes.
sounds good.
We're going to cut the stream here because it is 7 p.m. and I do need to sleep tonight. Need to get some stuff done.
Yeah.
But appreciate everybody coming today. We didn't really discuss this documentary a whole lot. I do recommend every single one of you that gets a chance to see this.
Well, it's not really one thing to discuss. You know, it's like
Yeah, it's kind of a difficult subject because it covers the 70s and 80s from 77 through the 80s. So that's like a decade plus
of sci-fi
content.
movies.
but it talks about highlights and it interviews people. So you know, all the people
And we're only
that were
half finished
involved
with
in
it.
some way. So yeah. So but it's really good. If you like sci-fi, you definitely need to watch this. Definitely.
Thank you, Jeremy.
It's like a phone book for beginning 80s sci-fi,
Yeah, it's
which
good.
will then lead you down the various rabbit holes of B science fiction, post-apocalyptic, schlock, you name it. Big names, small names, bad, funny bad, all of it.
I want to say
And then you'll
thank you.
be sitting there too, like, I don't have enough time to watch all this.
No, we don't. Want to thank Crafting Gamer for being a member for 11 months. Also for other people that are part of the membership program. We're going over some things which I can start doing to make my channel a little bit more interactive. I'm sorry that I have done so little, but I'm trying to focus on getting the game written and miniatures painted and just being in front of here for friends. I do recommend that if you guys have an issue or things are going on in your life you can't control, you need to talk to somebody, do talk to somebody about it. Unless you're a stinking pinko commie. And then after that, I got nothing for you. But I mean, I know it sounds terrible to say, but I'm trying my best to do conversions and not just like write them off completely, but they're not helping themselves. It's not me that, there's a target that they've got. That I'm just a small fry. But I want people that are wanting to make good in this world. And for those of you that are having problems, reach out, find somebody that can listen to you, find somebody that can do things right, and do everything you can to just keep your head focused on those problems, and know they'll be part of the past at some point. Don't know when, but you got to get through it, over it, around it, adapt, overcome. Want to say thank you to my co-host Janet and Six Nations 31 Kings again. Special thanks to Crafting Gamer, member for 11 months, for jumping on the panel with us.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh,
that was
and
awesome.
on X hung out with us too.
Thank you so much for being here today. All 234 of you, which that's
Holy
not
shit.
on my phone. Yeah. We've got a crowd, a small crowd.
That ain't me. I can tell you that. All I can
We'll be
say
back.
is stay hydrated and touch grass.
Touch grass. Next week we will watch the last half of this movie, of this documentary, and we will give you our dissertation upon it and go over some highlights which are very important. But until then, kids, don't let the Red Scare get you, and do everything you can to keep your head on a swivel.
Bye.
See
Wolverines.
ya.
End of line.